at 803-779-8600 or find them at wilsonkibler.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-462-3333. That's it.
WNKT-FM, Eastover, Columbia.
This is Gamecock kicker Mitch Jeter. You're listening to the home of Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
A Cumulus media station. Football Friday.
Sponsored by Brian's Heating and Cooling. Brian's Heating and Cooling, where they take your comfort personally. Give them a call for all your commercial and residential comfort needs. 803-796-1788 or briansheatingandcooling.com.
Antoine Juice Wells breaks away at the 30, 20, going for the pylon at the 5, dives for it. Call it. Touchdown, Carolina.
Football Friday on your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Let's go. 6 a.m. on a Friday morning. Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen. Get up. It's another Football Friday. Oh, man. I know I've said this a few times last few weeks, but this particular Friday, the weather feels that great fall high school Friday night football weather, Preston. I think tomorrow you're going to have great, just low humidity. I think it's going for maybe a little bit of rain early tomorrow, but should be really nice. Obviously, no home game for the Gamecocks. They will be on the road at Missouri. And then Sunday, another beautiful day. Is this, I'll ask both of you. I put it to both of you. Is this our true first fall weekend?
Ooh, good question. Strong possibility. This might be the first one. With all the qualifications being the weather, football, yeah, this might you might be right.
It feels,
and the fairs. This is the last weekend for the fair, so you might want to get that taken care of. Also,
Clemson's on the road also this weekend. They're at Miami. So, in terms of Clemson and South Carolina, neither team with a home game. So yeah, it feels. I'm not that guy, and I think my kids have maybe passed that age. But the pumpkin patch
can work.
This it feels like with a 3:30 game and with an 8 o'clock game, Clemson at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Get up, get the family up, go hit a pumpkin patch, do a little carving of pumpkins, and get yourself ready for a late afternoon of some huge football games for the Gamecocks and the Tigers this weekend. It should be a lot of fun. Again, interesting weekend of football, Preston Thorne. Interesting. We're hitting when you have, in my opinion, this much parity in college football, which I love. I love it. I hope, if anything else, as much as an annoyance, the transfer portal and name, image, likeness has been, if this is what it's turning college football into, you know what? Sign me up. I'm all for it. I'll go against the grain because then it's just a matter of figure out how to play with the system. And it also makes me feel like South Carolina, even though SEC Shorts yesterday had a very good South Carolina. I think that there's a lot of us that could understand that.
Yeah, I watched it twice.
Yeah.
Actually, I watched it twice, and I was trying to figure out how would this play on the radio. And there was too many visual jokes to really get it to play on the radio, but it was strong.
I like the you're wasting a really good rattler.
Oh my gosh.
The
When they have a
playoff
rattle.
The playoff, what is it? The thing that hangs above the crib?
The mobile.
The mobile. It will always be, no matter how hard he tries, it'll always be just out of his grasp.
Yep, won't get that trophy. Then there was the thing for the pacifier, and there's like a little guard around the pacifier, and that basically was a bunch of the plays for the defensive line or something.
Yep, Clayton definitely called it straight after last week for sure. Yeah, I mean, deadly accurate. Deadly accurate.
I'm curious, how did the coaching staff react? You're probably like, ugh, or you could be mad, but yet it's like, dang guys, that's it.
There's two online things. There's the SEC Shorts, and then there's this guy, Coach 30, who makes fun of players who've gotten beat throughout the season, and it's hilarious. However, you don't want to end up with Coach 30. And I think they did last year. And Boogie Huntley was talking last year about how it's like, oh no, we made it. And so everybody's like, oh man, but it's so funny that you can't. I mean, I'm sure all the coaches went into their own individual offices and laughed, but you can't. We don't. But maybe they didn't, because we know they don't hear the outside noise.
Oh, that's true.
And they don't pay attention to what's going on in the media.
If you know one of the coaches, like, that was funny. If you know, are you embarrassed to send that to them for that? Like, coaches have sense of humor. Even Will Muschamp, I will contend, and I know that people do not like him, just from talking with other people. Will Muschamp is actually a really funny, good dude. I think I've been told this he got burnt so bad at Florida by kind of opening himself. He was not going to do that here. But even Will Muschamp has a decent sense of humor.
Got to open up your heart, Will.
Coaches
have to learn to love again.
Coaches most of them have a sense of humor. Like, I think we've even seen Nick Saban in recent years become a more lighthearted. He just delivers it with such a deadpan, just no smile, no like. But it's like he tells a joke and then he's looking at you, staring you down, expecting you to laugh. Like, he's not hoping you'll laugh. He's expecting you to laugh. Like,
yeah, that's when you've been in that position of power for so long. Everybody, because I'm sure when he tells a joke at the coaches' tables, Nick, you're killing us, Nick. You're so funny. You're so funny, Nick. Please keep my job, please.
Well, I had to go back. I think this, when you have this much parity, Preston, if this is a byproduct of NIL and the transfer portal, and you're expanding to 12 teams, it opens the door, I think, to so much more of college football, really more power, obviously Power 5. But this will be another really fun weekend. It's nice. It's kind of interesting to see Mike Elko and Duke up there, top 20 matchup in Tallahassee tomorrow night, 7:30. Riley Leonard expected back. Duke and Florida State on Fox at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Utah, number 14 ranked Utah, number 18th ranked Southern Cal. I mentioned that Clemson Miami game, your night slate tomorrow night, pretty entertaining. I mean, that's a good way to kind of cap it off. Talk about sitting outside, a little fire pit. You can go to bed kind of early. You're not having to attend a football game unless you're a Clemson fan, and then you're having to stay up all night to watch Miami and Clemson. But again, tomorrow should be really interesting. 3:30, obviously South Carolina, Missouri, but Tennessee at Alabama.
That's a big one. That was the best game of the year for me last year, for sure. So I don't know. I would assume it won't be a repeat of that, but it's a huge game. And I think it's even bigger for Alabama than it is for Tennessee, because Alabama feels as if they're teetering, they're hanging around, but they're not who they were. This game is fraught with some upset potential.
That actually starts tomorrow, Alabama's revenge tour, because you're going after Tennessee, who got you last year in Neyland, and then they will actually have a bye week. They'll get a bye week next week. And then it's the revenge game against LSU. LSU and Brian Kelly knocking them off there with the 2-point conversion. So this begins a little bit of Alabama's revenge tour. That's your 3:30 game. Your early game tomorrow, I feel like this is where you truly have to take a side, Preston Thorne. Ohio State or Penn State. Ryan Day or James Franklin. You can't just hope for gigantic hole to open up there in this game, and both teams just disappear. You can't pull for. Why am I blanking on the name of Ohio State? Is it Ohio Stadium? Does Ohio State? Why am I blanking on Ohio State Stadium?
Horseshoe.
Is it? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Ooh, boy, it was.
It's all right.
But yeah, you wanna. Who is the lesser of two evils?
Despite his beef with Lou Holtz, I think I want Ryan Day to win this.
Okay, Ohio State number 3.
Because Penn State wins this game, then they go along and then they get smacked around later, and then they complain about how they're underrated and nobody. I don't want to hear that anymore. Get them out of here.
So we will get into more of that as we go through the morning tomorrow night. Usually a big rivalry game, 7:30 on Peacock. A little less of a rivalry game without Mel Tucker. And now we might know a little bit of Jim Harbaugh's secrets. Apparently the mastermind at stealing signs, maybe. We'll get into a little bit of this. I'm interested both from a sincere, non-joking around Preston Thorn as a former player opinion on stealing signs. And then, of course, we'll make a lot of fun of Jim Harbaugh and try and figure out what exactly is going on at Michigan. Because I just told you and I were talking about, I can't figure out what's going on.
Apparently neither can Jim. But he's hired a lawyer.
Yeah. That's
his lawyer, because he keeps his lawyer on retainer.
I was just thinking, is this becoming the new thing for college coaches? You hire your offensive coordinator, your defensive coordinator, and then you hire your attorney to just stand by your side at all times.
Keep him on retainer.
That's basically now the 12th member of your coaching staff.
And an agent.
Mm-hmm. Oh, your agent just comes along with you.
That's true.
Remember, your agent's the first person there, really. You gotta make the big hires. We'll get into that a little bit this morning. Chris Deering will join us, as he always does on Friday, for the high school highlights of the week. We will also try and get you an update on Footgate. See how Shane Beamer's foot is healing and what his mobility status will be for tomorrow. He can't coach in a scooter, right?
Dion has done this already.
It's not Dion.
He's already
there are a
pioneered
few coaches.
I'm just telling you, Dion has already pioneered this. The technology is there. There's a protocol for it. It's set. I'm just telling you, Shane, don't be too proud to get on that scooter this week. I'm just telling you.
You can't. I'm sorry. You cannot coach.
Don't be too proud,
You cannot
Shane.
coach on a scooter. There's only one coach in this country that can pull that off and not be ridiculed, and that's Deion Sanders. And it helped a little bit that he was at Jackson State, and there was a few less eyes on him.
Don't be too proud.
I'm saying. We'll get into all that. A lot to do this.
A lot of stuff happens on that sideline. If he gets that foot stepped on, he's going to cry.
Just look over and he's on the ground.
I'm wondering if he needs to have like one of Kaki's shoes on him so that, that way that's a big area. Like don't touch.
Steel toe Under Armour.
What's the, and I apologize. David Cromer. You remember David Cromer, the South Carolina baseball player who, when they were rolling along, would stand behind Mark Kingston, arms folded, sunglasses on, being his bodyguard. If somebody can locate David Cromer out there this morning, I know South Carolina's got fall practice going on, but maybe throw David Cromer on that plane and have him be Shane Beamer's personal bodyguard, foot protector tomorrow to make sure nobody steps on the coach's foot.
You'll need it.
We'll get into all that. 803-404-6100. Preston also wants to recap the Mayor's Cup history.
Mm-hmm.
Good news. South Carolina's played 4 conference games so far this year.
And I have a burning question. Now, we're going to ask later, but it's been burning my inside since the beginning of this week. Actually, all year, but this week especially.
Yeah, I'll get into this because 3 of the previous 4 conference games I've come in here and felt sad. We're not playing Georgia next year. We're not playing Tennessee next year. We're not playing Florida next year. I felt bad about those. And we've done some montages and we've talked about it. But then Preston Thorn, guess what? We play Missouri next year. And I think I'm sad about that too.
The Mayor's Cup continues.
I think I'm sad about that. We'll get to Gamecock Larry. We'll get to some of your interactions this morning. 803-404-6100 is how you can weigh in. You're listening to Preston Thorn, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen. It is the early game.
The game will be at the beach, in the PD, and the Midlands. That almost covers the whole Palmetto State. In Columbia, 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
It's Jen for Custom Cabinetry, CHW Custom Cabinetry. That is in Lexington, locally owned, women-owned business. And they have been so helpful for us in getting our kitchen put back together after that flood we had last year. And they helped us find all the cabinetry that we needed and make it's kind of like a big puzzle piece. So getting all that put together and some special accessory cabinets that would be kind of fun and different in our kitchen. And it's been fantastic. The entire process has. They put together this photorealistic rendering that showed us exactly what the kitchen would look like. And then we were able to take that to finish out the rest of the elements of our kitchen. Installation was flawless, took a couple days, and it's absolutely beautiful in there now. We're so thrilled. If you need cabinets for your home, maybe a workspace or outdoor cabinetry, visit chwcabinetry.com for more information or give them a call at 803-520-6837. Be sure to tell them Jen Jensen sent you. CHW Cabinetry, passion from inspiration to installation.
Plus, text second title with approved credit card at 841-7640 for details. For the first time ever, and maybe the last time, JT is taking up to $12,000 off new Ram trucks at JT's Jeep Ram Lexington. Plus, new Jeeps up to $11,000 off. Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, Gladiator. And JT's offering you up to 20% more for your trade. Up to $6,000 more. $12,000 off new Rams, $11,000 off new Jeeps at JT's Jeep Ram Lexington. JT'sJeepRam.com. Ram Power Days.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, this is Lisa Hostetler Brown. Do you know the difference between a revocable trust and an irrevocable trust? The difference could easily save you hundreds of thousands of dollars in long-term care costs. Visit lawyerlisa.com to schedule a consultation today.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
Honey, you need a trust.
Whatever you've got planned this week, cancel it. New Kia's $10,000 off at Galliana Kia on Greystone. The amazing 2023 Kia EV6 all-electric super vehicle, up to $10,000 off. Or lease a 2023 Galliana Kia Forte LXS for $155 per month. 2024 Galliana Kia K5 LXS or 2023 Kia Sorento LX for just $225 per month. And you can finance select Kias at 0.9 APR for up to 48 months. Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. At Galliana Kia, our lenders can get almost anyone approved. Plus, whatever your trade is worth, Galliana Kia will give you more. New Kias up to $10,000 off at Galliana Kia on Greystone. I-126 Zoo exit in Columbia. Call 779-7300 or KiaColumbia.com.
Gotta go to Galliana.
21.22 per month per thousand borrowed for 48 months at 0.9 APR with 0 down. EV6 discount on lease stock number 3K5008. 24-month lease is 10,000 miles per year. $54.99 to sign. Plus tax tag at $489 closing fee. No security deposit to qualified buyers. Expires month end.
As a roofer, I don't have time to fail. Homeowners rely on me. So I rely on Beacon. Beacon's unique network of branches work together to get me what I need when I need it. Every branch working together. And with the Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like Certainty Landmark Pro, right at my fingertips. And now through November, purchase Certainty with Beacon Pro Plus, web or app, and earn up to $750. Beacon, always building.
There's no better place to be on a fall Saturday than at Williams-Brice Stadium. Secure your tickets today to catch a game this fall. Visit thegamecockclub.com for more information. Whatever the game, whoever you're with, just catch a game.
Plus, text entitled with approved credit card 866-243-4623 for details. Never before and maybe never again, South Carolina's truck giant Dodge Land on Greystone is taking up to $12,000 off new Rams. Quad cab, crew cab, heavy duty. Big trucks, big savings. And where can you get up to 20% more for your trade? South Carolina's truck giant, up to $6,000 more. Don't wait. This has never happened before and maybe will never happen again. $12,000 off new Rams at Dodge Land on Greystone. JT'sDodge.com.
At the YMCA, finding your why starts by making an impact together, touching lives for the better. It can be the gift of time or treasure, supporting a community through talent without measure. Here, compassion fuels commitment, finding fulfillment through enrichment, serving and improving. What a way to live, and what a gift it is to give. Find your why and get involved today at ymca.org. For a better us.
Every second counts in a poison emergency. That's why Poison Help is standing by 24/7 to provide free assistance in over 100 languages. Save Poison Help as a contact in your phone today. Poison Help, 1-800-222-1222.
1075 The Game traffic. Sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 1075 The Game.
There has been a train derailment, Lincoln Street, both east and westbound near Blossom Street. That obviously has the road closed at in the 300 block of Lincoln Street, so just be aware of that. Summit Parkway at Summit Ridge Drive, an accident there. Also Van Boakland Road at Garner's Ferry Road. Looking for a little bit of rain today. Could see some thunderstorms starting around lunchtime, but then after that, just a few scattered showers throughout the afternoon and evening. That all gets out of here by tomorrow. 72 for our high today, 74 tomorrow. 55 right now.
Football Friday.
Sponsored by Brian's Heating and Cooling.
On your home of the Gamecocks. In Columbia, 1075 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
$6:19. Hop out of bed, jump around. It is Football Friday as we get you ready for another fun weekend here and another one that will produce probably an upset or two, Preston, that'll throw a little bit of chaos into college football. Arizona State at Washington, that game at least in Seattle. Who knows? 10:30 on FS1 tomorrow night. Can Arizona State maybe go in and knock off Washington coming off of their huge victory over Oregon? Maybe a little bit of a letdown spot. Kind of scrolling through a few others tomorrow. The pillow fight that will be Minnesota and Iowa.
Oh, it won't be a pillow fight. It just won't be high scoring. It'll be hitting.
Get updates you're ready to go with on the Iowa offense. And as you said, the drive for 325.
Can't wait.
UCF making their appearance in Norman for another Big 12 game. So we'll get into a lot of that throughout the morning as we roll along. 803-404-6100. Clemson Allen weighing in and telling Jen, very good joke. The cocky shoe that Beamer could wear tomorrow.
I just think it would be more of a protective thing. You know, it's more
fluffy
real estate. So just like, hey, don't forget.
You would notice that as you're trying to run on the field, I guess.
I would think so. Maybe because those shoes, they're yellow, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
So
who knows? Who knows what will happen?
Caution.
One man, I say who knows. One man will know what will happen tomorrow, although he is 2-4 on predictions this year. Gamecock Larry, welcome. And how you feeling this morning, young man?
I'm feeling good. But first, let me say, Root Hall, Give It America. He called me sometime this morning. I don't know what time it was, but I'm giving you 13 points. I don't know who you're playing, but I'm giving you 13 points. Now, number two, my drag racing team, game number 1 today, got the Gamecock flags flying down there. Gamecock, Lucas, Wesley, and CW. They're going to win their day, win tomorrow, and go down there and win everything Sunday and bring it home. Now, let me get a little bit about this football game up there in Missouri. And Taylor was saying he can tough it out. I remember I broke my foot one time and I had to tough it out. Put on a couple of pair of socks, get a pair of shoes a little bit bigger than what you usually wear, and you can make it. Tough it out, Shane. Tough it out. Now, tomorrow, Clemson going down to Miami. Well, I'm going to tell you what it's going to be. If old Crystal Ball, or whatever you call him, don't make another foolish mistake, and it wasn't a mistake, he just messed up. But if he don't make another one of them kind of mistakes, it's going to be Miami 27, Clemson 17. Now we're going out to Missouri. We're going to go out there And we going out there the same way Florida came into Columbia. They came here to beat us because they had to get the fans off of coaches' backs and never could win a game on the road. And they came in here, but they didn't beat us, but they scored more than we did. So I guess they won. Now we're gonna go out there. I think it's gonna be a pretty high scoring game. Rattler gonna get at least. I'll say he's gonna get 4 touchdown passes, and they're gonna get one more on running. I don't know who's gonna get it. Mario might jump over some Tiger and score. Or Rattler might run. It's gonna be, and they're gonna get a couple of field goals. And it's gonna be 38. Is that right? Wait a minute. 5, 7, 35, 30. It's going to be 5, 7, 35, 38. 38, 31 Gamecocks. I got something wrong. I got my right now. I can't even. I used to could add more. I could figure 2 and 2 was 4 in no time, but I can't do it no more. But that's about all I got to say. I just want to wish my drag racing team down there the best. Go get them. I want to wish the Gamecocks the best. They're going to win. And Clemson Tigers, Dabo, you better hit the transfer portal, buddy. You're gonna be transferring yourself pretty soon. Boy, I feel good like an old Gamecock should. Love all y'all. Have a great day and go Gamecocks.
There's a lot to process there. Number one, just a straight challenge to Shane Beamer to deal with his foot and get over it.
It has been mandated.
Yeah.
Told you to toughen up.
just flat, straight challenge of we
Rub
don't
some
have
dirt on it. Let's go.
We don't really have time for you to be whining about your foot. Nobody calls this problem except you. Two, I agree with him, going back yesterday to what Brian Edwards of Vegas Insider says, Preston, the over-under on this game is 60. And it does feel like that if South Carolina's to win the game, the over will hit. South Carolina's going to have to get 35 or more, right?
Yeah, I mean, all numbers indicate that. I don't see that slowing down or stopping.
Yeah, that's going to be kind of the interesting thing. And we'll get more into it as we go along during the show. Preston will get into some different kind of things that we're looking for tomorrow. One of them also, we're talking so much about the pass defense. You got to slow down the run a little bit as well with Missouri. You can't let them be able to just pick and choose what they want to do and be multiple. So we'll get into that. But up next, I want to get into a little bit of this stealing signs. I want to hear Preston's take on Jim Harbaugh and the and the Wolverines. What are they doing here? We'll break that down a little bit for you. Michigan under investigation. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen. It's the early game.
Here's what's coming up on the game.
Carolina Calls with Shane Beamer, live from Backstreet Grill in Columbia. Thursday at 6 p.m.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Just a couple days away. Halloween. Maybe you're already planning the big Halloween party. Maybe you got it lined up for next weekend and people are coming over, but you're looking around the house and you realize the carpets, rugs, tile, the upholstery, that's actually spooky. It's dingy, it's dusty, and you need to get it cleaned. Contact Zerorez. That's right. They will make it very nice, very easy with their patented ZR water technology. And you know what? Right now, you can get a great deal. Mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game, and get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned plus a free hallway for just $109. Again, that's 803-262-4020 or schedule online, ZerorezColumbia.com. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean plus a free hallway when you mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game. But that deal is only good for one more day. It was available this week. It's good for today. Call Zerorez, 803-262-4020 and mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game. Zerorez, spell it backwards or forwards, is the right way to clean.
Brakes for less is what we do. We know drums, rotors, pads, and shoes. It doesn't matter what kind of car you got. Call 888-261-STOP. all we do.
Our brakes for less. Plus, text second title with approved credit card at 841-117640 for details. For the first time ever and maybe the last time, JT is taking up to $12,000 off new Ram trucks at JT's Jeep Ram Lexington. Plus new Jeeps up to $11,000 off. Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, Gladiator. And JT's offering you up to 20% more for your trade. Up to $6,000 more. 12 grand off new Rams, 11 grand off new Jeeps at JT's Jeep Ram Lexington. JT'sJeepRam.com. Ram Power Days.
Hello and welcome to The Kroger Show. At Kroger, everyone wins when it comes to saving big. Because when you order online through the Kroger app, you get the same great prices, deals, and rewards on pickup or delivery that you do in-store with no hidden fees or markups. So no matter how you shop, you'll always save big at Kroger. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Right now, save big on select varieties of Campbell's condensed soup or Kroger pasta. Your choice just 99 cents each with your card and digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
There's no better place to be on a fall Saturday than at Williams-Brice Stadium. Secure your tickets today to catch a game this fall. Visit thegamecockclub.com for more information. Whatever the game, whoever you're with, just catch a game.
No one likes to talk about the injuries, pain, disability, and lost loved ones that result from terrible car and tractor-trailer accidents. I'm Jason Reynolds. At the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, we're honored to be the lawyers our clients rely on during their toughest moments.
And I'm Stephen Samuels. When work injury disrupts your life, I work hard to get you the medical treatment and workers' compensation you depend on.
Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers. 803-779-4000.
Pete Elwine Pool and Spa is your hometown hot tub dealer where sales and service go hand in hand. If you've been thinking about buying a hot tub, come check out our full line of hot tubs and explore the benefits of hydrotherapy, which includes stress relief and increased blood flow and promotes overall health and well-being. Models start as low as $5,000. Pete Elwine Pool and Spa, 5541 Sunset Boulevard. You'll find us on Facebook or online at PeteLwinePools.com.
Palmetto Propane, a family-owned company, has been delivering propane to homes and businesses for more than 60 years. With professional installation, exceptional service, and premium gas log and outdoor fire features, we're proud to be South Carolina's leading full-service propane and fuel provider. And our online payment and scheduling give you the access you need anytime, anywhere. Visit us at PalmettoPropane.com to connect with us and to find a location near you.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet, where saving is always the name of the game. The lowest price, guaranteed, or they'll pay you $1,000. South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Find new roads.
1075 The Game traffic, sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 1075 The Game.
So we have a report of a train derailment, Lincoln Street, in the 300 block of Lincoln Street there at Blossom. So not going to be able to get across there, but just keep that in mind as you're traveling or making your travel plans. Again, that's Lincoln Street, both east and westbound near Blossom Street, a train derailment. Summit Parkway at Summit Ridge Drive, an accident. Also Van Boakland Road at Garner's Ferry Road. Rain coming in around lunchtime today, but clears out by tomorrow. Right now, it's 55 on the early game.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
On your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 1075 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
There is a lot going on in the world out there. And so when I read paragraphs and I can remove just a few key words, I just can't help but laugh. There's a lot of serious stuff going on out there right now. College football is an entertainment. It's enjoyment. It's what I look forward to each and every Saturday, but it's not most. It's not life and death.
It should not be.
So when I read, I'm going to remove a few keywords here because a few, I guess, adjectives that are used in here to describe what's going on in Michigan are just phenomenal. If I just read to you the sentence, a low-level staffer with military background has emerged as one of the linchpins into an investigation into alleged sign-stealing operation.
We have operations.
Now, the key words I left out are NCAA investigation and into Michigan's alleged sign-stealing operation. Connor Stallions, a football analyst.
Oh, we have somebody.
Oh.
A person. Okay, this is at least, I didn't hear this development.
Connor Stallions, I believe is how you say his name, a football analyst with Michigan and a retired captain in the United States Marine Corps, is a person of interest in the investigation into whether number 2 ranked Michigan violated an NCAA rule by scouting future opponents in person at games. The NCAA has prohibited such scouting since 1994. Sources have said that the NCAA's enforcement staff level of interest in Stallions is so significant it has sought access to his computer as part of the investigation.
Wow.
All right, number 1. And I'm sorry to do this. Gamecock Larry, you have let us all down. With your Marine, with your background, how you were not at the forefront of leading a sign-stealing charge.
Espionage.
And I'm sure there's others out there that could have helped you. But Gamecock Larry, who is, he dabbles in cooking with liver pudding and grits. He dabbles now apparently in drag racing with his own team.
Mm-hmm.
I now feel that Gamecock Larry has let a lot of us down by not creating an espionage team that could have won many more a game over the last 20, 25, 30 years.
That would have been ideal.
The only problem is, I feel like maybe with our defense currently playing right now, we might have known the signs and it would not have mattered.
We kind of have heard that, yeah.
This is what they're going to do.
Yeah, kind of a good point.
Didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's going to still got to tackle it.
Do you remember anything? Let's start with from your play. I mean, walk me through that from your playing career.
Yeah. This is a part of, not to this stuff. I don't know about staffers or anything like that, but this is well known, obviously, this is a high school practice. In high schools, you might send the JV coaches to scout the other varsity team on a Friday night. So that's the thing besides the tape that you get. I've talked before about you're only supposed to get the last 3 game films, but every coach knows everybody. So you end up getting more game film from your friends in the industry. That's on the high school level. In college, Eric Henry tells the story about 2001 against Florida, stealing the sign, running to tell Charlie Strong that he think that they had that sign. They ended up running a play which we knew was coming. Sheldon Brown gets a interception. R.I.P. Law Dog. I don't know if you've ever heard his story about coercing the ball boys on the other side. Have you ever heard this story?
No.
I've never heard this story. Go ahead.
So the law dog would, Brad Lawn, for those who don't know, sometimes there would be a ball boy on the other side and the ball boy would be on the opponent's sideline, and they would know what the other team was doing. And he would ask for the ball boy to give a slight signal to indicate whether it was pass or run. It might be holding the towel up, putting the towel on your shoulder when it's a run or something along those lines. And
there's a great article. I wish I could go back and find it that came out recently in the last 3 months leading into the season that talks about the ball boys on the other side, like on the sideline, and issues that have occurred. I didn't realize that. That's interesting. I didn't know that story.
Yeah, that's the story. And he's told this one, so I'm not breaking any the statute of limitations is up on this. And we don't know who the ball boy is. If you are listening, we would love for you to hear you. But there's all types of I think there's a difference, and this is where the whole Astros cheating and there's a difference between gamesmanship and just you passed the line.
Or as whatever year it happened, the Patriots just blatantly videotaping the other teams.
That's not
through.
Gamesmanship. If you're banging on trash cans and you got a video equipment, that's not gamesmanship. But subtle things within a game, I'm all for it. This might be a step far.
Mm-hmm.
It's going. The whole Jim Harbaugh situation, you feel like this is coming to an end, right? Like he is basically being walked out to the gallows at some point by the NCAA, and he's going to make a quick move right and head back to the NFL. It's why I feel like kind of last year he kind of flirted with different jobs, and it feels like whatever's coming, he's going to go ahead and just get out of Dodge at the end of this season and open the door for Michigan to be looking for a new head coach.
Yeah, but the only issue is his team has a legit chance to win the national championship this year, and that's going to make it very, very interesting because they are on path to at least be one of the teams in the playoffs.
For those wanting to know, we're still trying to get details. People are still trying to process. Yesterday, I saw it as complicated as sending regular staffers posing as media members. I don't know if that's true because it says a source has told ESPN that the Wolverines have used an elaborate scouting system to steal signals from future opponents since at least 2021, with the ongoing NCAA investigation into Michigan's recruiting and Coach Jim Harbaugh potentially facing additional penalties. This separate investigation could significantly increase his exposure to additional suspension.
I wonder what information they can actually glean from being up there. Unless they're in the coach's box, the media is separate. Y'all have been in the media places, so they're separate. It's not like you are having any communication. I don't know what extra you can see or glean by being in person. I'm not sure today. Maybe in 94 when we didn't have cameras everywhere and everything wasn't on video, maybe that would have worked. I don't know how that benefits you in 2023. I'm sure it does.
How what benefits you?
Just being in person. I don't know how that benefits you more than all of the other 1,000 camera streams that we have.
I would assume what you're just saying is I'm holding up my cell phone right now, and if you have 2 or 3 direct GAs sitting in the stands, and they're not filming the play, but they are just filming strictly the coach on the sideline,
possible
sending in plays and looking at hand gestures, because obviously we've seen it in college football. I've got the, I don't know what they are. Are they graduate assistants? Are they
so many people on the sideline?
The person, the 2 people in charge of holding up the kind of the what do you want to call it? I'm going to say a flag, but basically the curtain up over the offensive defensive coordinator, so that basically whomever, wherever they see it, is not able to see the plays coming in.
There's so many people on the sidelines now. If you watch our game, when you watch our game on Saturday, look how many people are involved in actually calling a play.
Mind-boggling.
It's amazing. And everybody has headsets on, and I'm sure there's communication protocols that are happening. But yeah, I don't know who I'm sure these are low level staffers.
But yeah, I mean, you purchase your ticket. I'm not being funny when I say this week, I switched over to an iPhone 15. And I say that because I had an iPhone 10 that my daughter was making fun of me because of the pictures that I would take of her and everything. And she had gotten to the point she was like, "Dad,
don't use your phone.
Yeah, your pictures are awful. They're grainy. They're disgusting. Do not post." Yeah,
Terrible.
I mean, just 14-year-old daughter just ripping into her father.
If she's not an expert on anything, she understands pictures.
Yes,
clarity.
I've about lost
Especially
my mind.
of her.
Going down the road and her all of a sudden just look over and she's taking a selfie of herself. I guess that's redundant, but yeah, a selfie in the car. But going back to that point, where I'm going with this, that iPhone 15, the camera is amazing. I took a picture of a pumpkin the other day and sent it to her to see if she was proud of me, and she welcomed me to 2023. But to my point on this, yeah, if you're sitting, even if you're say in the upper deck and you've bought cheap tickets and you've got a pretty good cell phone these days, you can zoom in and you've got very clear picture quality of what an assistant coach or what whoever is signaling in the plays. And much like Preston, you would watch game film. If you start studying that and you see certain hand gestures, certain motions, and then you can correlate that to the defense that's being run, it becomes a lot easier on the sideline to pick out what's about to happen, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, all that. I mean, this is a long way to go to get what I think is a pretty small advantage against these teams that they're beating up, because all these things have to go right. You have to decipher what the sign is, then you have to translate it into your language, then you have to figure out, then you have to get that call to the coach has to get that call to the players. Then, like I was joking around, but not really, then the players actually have to make a play. Yes, it is easier to make a play when you have an idea what is coming, but that seems like I don't know if that's the return on investment on this situation is really, really worth it.
I don't want you to be shocked by what I'm about to read here, but Jim Harbaugh, of course, in a statement said,
through his lawyer.
Yeah. I have no awareness of anyone on our staff having done that or having directed that action. No matter what program or organization that I have led throughout my career, my instructions and awareness of how we scout opponents have always been firmly within the rules. However, sources have indicated that Stalions, the person in question, was known to technically work in the recruiting department, but a source with knowledge says it was known in the building that he spent much of his time deciphering opponents' signals, often watching television copies of opponents' games. His Instagram page, there are photos of him on the sideline next to two of Michigan's former defensive play callers, Don Brown and Mike McDonald. He had one role, said a source with knowledge of Michigan staff. I don't know. Look, you say small. I don't know if you know what's coming and you have a team good enough. If your team is already good enough as is Michigan's and you know what's coming, that gives you a significant advantage to me.
Yeah, it does give you. I'm just saying things have to happen so quickly. You have to figure things out, get the call in, make the play. It's a lot that has to happen. But I don't know. I think Talon's coaching career might be in question from here forward. He might just move on with Jim Harbaugh. We need to keep an eye on that, see where that goes. But it's interesting for sure.
Richard weighs in, and I'll leave Jen with this before we head to the break. Richard says, Lord, can my Bears please get Jim Harbaugh?
I would be fine with that at this point.
Richard,
at this point.
Richard and Jen on the same page this morning. You know what, Jim?
You
Jim Harbaugh?
You may not like the khakis. You may not like him drinking milk for dinner. The man can coach football.
Yes, he can. And at this point, why not take a college coach?
I'm mad at it.
803-404-6100. You're listening to the early game.
Here's what's coming up on the game.
The South Carolina versus Missouri viewing party at O'Hara's on Main Street in Lexington at 3:30 p.m. You can win tickets to future Gamecocks home games and Carowinds passes.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game, and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
Preston here for our friends at Absolute Glass, the premier glass company of the Midlands, offering auto, home, and business glass repair. So if your glass is damaged, shattered, cracked, or broken, they can handle the job. They'll come out to your location and give you a free quote for any job. So if you have a cracked windshield, that's no problem. They'll come to you and replace it for you, usually for free, and to work directly with the insurance to take away the headache. So if you're driving around with a chipped windshield, cracked windshield, or anything along those lines, they can take care of that for you. You don't need to be doing that. You don't have to worry about getting an appointment or getting to them. They will come to you. Also, if you're looking to increase the value of your home with new windows or mirrors, Absolute Glass will come to your house and take care of that for you also. Windows, mirrors, shower enclosures. I say it all the time. If you can see through it, Ray and Marianne at Absolute Glass can do it. So check them out online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com. That's online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com.
This is Boomerang Science with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by Empower Personal Wealth. Start taking control of your financial future at Empower.com. You know, folks, good teams find ways to win. Mediocre teams find ways to lose. Jacksonville squandered a 24-9 lead. Then Christian Kirk scored 44 yards on a catch-and-run touchdown. Derek Carr led New Orleans back, but Foster Moreau dropped a sure touchdown. Jacksonville wins 31-24 on Boomerang Science. CBS Sports Radio.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. If you're a dad who is facing divorce, there are extra layers of stress that may include stereotypes and assumptions. No two situations are the same. Our legal experience and dedication prepare us for whatever legal challenges we face together. You need a partner you can count on. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has represented men in divorce.
Online at CordellCordell.com. 1201 Main Street, Suite 840, Columbia, South Carolina, 29201. Scott Trout, licensed in Missouri, Illinois, and Georgia only.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
I think my battery's dead. With free battery testing and charging, we can help you get back on the road. So what if I need a new one? No problem. We have the right battery for your car, starting at only $89.99. And what about my old battery? We can recycle it right here at America's #1 battery destination. AutoZone. Restrictions apply. Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-485-6262. 800-485-6262. 800-485-6262.
Football Friday. Sponsored by Brian's Heating and Cooling. On your home of the Gamecocks. In Columbia, 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
$6:49 on a Friday morning, football Friday morning, as we get you up and get you going. A lot to get to this morning. If you want to weigh in, 803-404-6100. And so Preston has a question. All you have to do is be old to be good at quarterback.
Seems like it.
Is that
Seems like it. I don't know what is going on, but it feels like the number one qualification for being good at quarterback is just be older than everybody else.
Now, how do you correlate this? College, NFL, just both?
Well, not NFL.
Okay.
College, specifically. So, this is from The Athletic. Manny Navarro wrote an article, and this is from the 2018 recruiting cycle. Okay? You're a recruiting guy, so you might know this. Some of the guys who are in the 2018 recruiting cycle. Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
Justin Fields. Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
Okay.
Zach Wilson.
Right.
Brock Purdy.
Heard of him.
Okay. What do all those guys have in common?
Well, they're all in the NFL.
Correct.
Starting, right?
Yeah.
Dorian Thompson-Robinson
Not starting.
Okay.
He might be on his way. Here are some other guys who were in the 2018 class.
Oh.
Michael Penix Jr. Jordan Travis.
Yep, heard of him.
Sam Hartman.
Good player.
Cam Rising.
Not bad.
Devin Leary.
Making some moves.
Joe Milton.
Still in college.
DeCarrion Joyner.
Not a quarterback anymore.
The point is, all these dudes are really old, man. Zach Wilson's been in the NFL for 2+ years. Brock Purdy's been in the NFL for 2+ years. These guys are just playing in college. What do we do with this?
Well, this is where we're at now with I don't know, we're talking about parity, talking about NIL, talking about transfer portal, we talk about all this stuff. And one other unintended consequence, and maybe this is why we have so much parity, is because you have guys who are in their 6th year. And it's like Mario Anderson next year is going to be another byproduct. If Mario Anderson so chooses next year to come back, it will technically be his 6th year of college. He had a redshirt year. He played 4. He gets the COVID year because of 2020. So college football right now, thank you. Somebody picked up on exactly what I was just doing. BK says SNL skit here, guys. Yeah, that was. If you saw that with Deion Sanders, halfway through I realized we were into that. This is an interesting aspect of college football right now that we've never dealt with, and we're still working our way through. That the age of college football has skewed, Preston, from what do you think the average age probably when you played was 21-ish?
I don't know.
Maybe the average age?
I think it was lower.
You think it was lower?
Probably closer to 19, 20.
Okay. Because obviously, the reason we're saying that is guys leaving to go pro early or injuries wiping out some of the older players.
Or you just graduated. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people graduate college, excluding maybe the people who took the 7-year route.
Yeah, history degrees. But my point on this is you're getting more guys who are in the 22, 23, 20, or 24 year range. The average age of college football players has risen dramatically. Now, you still have the young quarterbacks who are coming in and being able to make an instant impact. And obviously, you look at this year's class and we look at freshmen around the country. We're not hearing from Arch Manning. This goes back. Arch Manning right now is currently behind Quinn Ewers, who I think is third year, if I'm thinking correctly.
Third year, second school.
Yep, third year, second school. Number 2 quarterback, Nico Amalamaliva, who's behind one of the guys you just mentioned in 25-year-old Joe Milton, essentially. Keon Keeley, who went to Alabama. Obviously, he's behind. He wasn't even mentioned in some of those. Dante Moore is starting. So there's your first one. He is actually starting.
Where is he?
At excuse me, I'm reading it. This is that he is actually at UCLA. Keon Keeley is not a quarterback. That's clicked me back to all positions. But if I go back to just quarterbacks again, Manning, Amalamaliva, Dante Moore, Jackson Arnold not starting. He's behind a transfer, and Dylan Gabriel at Oklahoma. Malachi Nelson is behind some guy named Caleb Williams at Southern Cal. Jaden Rashada, I think, was playing. I've not checked out. I've not checked out Arizona State in a while, but I know at one point. So that's
also. I mean, we don't have to go far because we have a highly sought after recruit here at the university who's sitting behind not a 6-year guy, but a 5th-year guy, a guy who's been around with Spencer Rattler and Lenora Sellers.
Right.
Whereas there might have been a time when Lenora Sellers was going to be on the field playing, going through those learning process.
Go back through South Carolina's history over the last 10 years. Really, after Connor Shaw, it was you. I'll just start real quick. Brandon McElwain, was a true freshman. Jake Bentley was a true. Go back before that. I'm sorry. 1 year before that, Lorenzo Nunez in 2015 was a true freshman that South Carolina threw out there. The following year was Brandon McElwain and Jake Bentley. Then you had a run of Jake Bentley before Ryan Helinski got thrown to the Wolves there as a true freshman. I feel like Luke Doty technically is a true freshman. That's 5 true freshman quarterbacks for South Carolina, really over a 6-year period that were thrown out there to the Wolves.
Yeah, and you could only really count one of those as being successful in Jake Bentley.
Right.
And maybe you can see the fate of the team also correlates with having to send out those young freshmen out there with those teams. So I just think it's really interesting where the game has migrated to. It changes a lot of the conversations we have. It changes a lot of the conversation because some of the conversations we had about college athletes were coded around them being kids, around them being young adults. And I mean, if you're 23, 24,
well,
you're still young.
We had that conversation. We had that conversation one time, you and I did, about when is it that you're at peak physical football condition? And I think you said we're going to hit a break. We'll be back. Hour 2 on the way.
And we ended up needing some help with some tax problems that we had and needed to get resolved. We initially owed about $300,000, and John Ecton and his law firm ended up getting us an offer in compromise, which dramatically reduced the amount owed. I would personally recommend the Ecton Law Firm. They did an excellent job for us, and if this is a concern that you're facing, they're definitely the people you should call.
It's great to know we have changed people's lives for the better. Hi, this is local attorney John Ecton with the Ecton Law Firm. For over a decade, our office has been dedicated to helping hardworking individuals and businesses solve tax problems for good. So if you have years of unfiled tax returns or are facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call our office today at 771-9800 or EctonLawFirm.com. That's ECTON lawfirm.com. Let's get your tax problem solved for good. Call today. You'll be glad you did.
Welcome to BreezeLine, where next level internet speeds mean next level productivity. Don't let slow internet slow down your game. Kick it up a notch with a game-changing offer of 1 gig fiber fast speeds for only $59.99 per month. Terms and conditions apply. Go to breezeline.com to learn more.
Let's text second title with approved credit card at 841-7640 for details. For the first time ever and maybe the last time, JT is taking up to $12,000 off new Ram trucks. At JT Jeep Ram Lexington. Plus new Jeeps up to $11,000 off. Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, Gladiator. And JT's offering you up to 20% more for your trade. Up to $6,000 more. 12 grand off new Rams, 11 grand off new Jeeps at JT's Jeep Ram Lexington. JT'sJeepRam.com. Ram Power Days.
If you're looking for the latest athletic shoe styles from famous name brands, go straight to Todd & More, your hometown sports store on 620 Hugie Street. Always the best prices and selections for everyone. Open 10 to 6 Monday through Saturday, just below the Coliseum near Blossom.
There's no better place to be on a fall Saturday than at Williams-Brice Stadium. Secure your tickets today to catch a game this fall. Visit thegamecockclub.com for more information. Whatever the game, whoever you're with, just catch a game.
Pete Wine Pool and Spa is your hometown hot tub dealer where sales and service go hand in hand. If you've been thinking about buying a hot tub, come check out our full line of hot tubs and explore the benefits of hydrotherapy, which includes stress relief and increased blood flow and promotes overall health and well-being. Models start as low as $5,000. Pete Wine Pool and Spa, 5541 Sunset Boulevard. You'll find us on Facebook or online at PeteLWinePools.com.
Gotta take.
Hit us up on the Firehouse Subs text line.
Firehouse Subs, founded by firemen.
803-404-6100.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
1075 The Game. 1075 The Game traffic. Sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 1075 The Game.
I-26 eastbound at Airport Boulevard, there'll be exit 113. 2 left lanes are currently blocked. Lincoln Street, both east and westbound near Blossom Street, the tracks there, that is currently closed. That's the 300 block of Lincoln Street due to a train derailment. Summit Parkway at Summit Ridge Drive, an accident there. And Ben Boakland Road at Garner's Ferry Road. The forecast for today, we're looking for some rain. Should be coming in maybe around lunchtime and kind of continuing into this evening somewhat. But tomorrow it clears out, and we're looking for a high of 75 tomorrow, 72 today, and then 76 on Sunday.
Football Friday.
Sponsored by
the 30, 20, going for the pylon at the 5, dodge for it. Call it. Touchdown, Carolina.
Football Friday on your home of the Gamecocks. In Columbia, 1075 The Game.
also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
$7 a.m. on your Friday morning. Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen, as we get you up and get you rolling along, get you to the office, or if you're taking the day off, congratulations. We got you covered. We'll finish up a little bit of quarterback conversation, look at Missouri's Brady Cook, and talk about a few other of these people. Maybe an interesting strategy to recruiting now for certain teams. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we'll be joined by Chris Deering of Prep Red Zone Network. Another great Friday night of high school football set to take place. Another great weekend of college football we got upon us. So if you want to sit back, relax, and enjoy the morning, have your cup of coffee, we got you covered here. We'll start really getting into that South Carolina-Missouri game, 3:30 tomorrow in Columbia, Missouri. Brady Cook, the junior quarterback, 6'2", 205 pounds, having a fantastic season. Preston, look, I think if you subbed out, how do I say this properly? If you remove the pictures and I just put up the stats, if I just gave you the stats and compared Brady Cook to Drake May, I'm not sure you wouldn't say Brady Cook is having the better season. Now, Drake May did just get Tez Walker back, and maybe that plays into it. But let me read you, blind draw here, read you stats, all right? I'll round up 69% completion percentage, 1,900 yards, 12 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Let me repeat that. 69% completion percentage, 12 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 1,900 yards. Compare that to 71% completion percentage, 2,046 yards, 14 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Again, 71% completion percentage, 2,046 yards, 14 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
I mean, they're comparable for sure.
They're definitely. That's what I'm just saying.
If you had to pick one out of a bag, you'd be fine with either one. I don't know for Radio Magic. I'm not looking at the stats.
Right.
I don't know who's who, but both of them seem very capable in leading their teams for sure.
Drake May is 2 inches taller, 6'4". He is about 25, according to the roster, about 25 pounds heavier, 230 pounds. Let me just also give you another stat here on these guys this year. Let's see if I can get the rushing stats, because that is one thing about.
That's what Drake May brings to the game as opposed to Brady Cook, right?
Well, I don't think they are. I don't think they are ridiculous. Here we go. This is one guy, 62 carries this year, 184 yards, 4 rushing touchdowns. 62 carries, 184 yards, 4 rushing touchdowns. Other guy, 50 carries, 70 yards, 4 rushing touchdowns.
I would assume that the one with the more yards is Drake May. That's my assumption based on what he did last year, and he can scoot a little bit from what we've seen, but obviously North Carolina does not want to do that as much as they depended on it last year. Well,
Missouri's not. They're not a quarterback run system as well. Brady Cook this year, the numbers I gave you, 71% completion percentage, 14 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He has more yards. He's, I would say, slightly better than Drake May. And I say that because I think we look at the quarterback South Carolina's faced, and Preston, it's conceivable that tomorrow on the road in Columbia, Missouri, South Carolina faces the best quarterback they faced this year. That's where I was going with that.
Yeah, and that's a very solid point, because I made fun of Dal August for calling Graham Mertz a Tier 1 quarterback when, I don't know, he performed like one for sure. But now we actually have one, a guy who is not only a Tier 1 quarterback in the SEC for sure, but he also has a Tier 1 receiver, which Ricky Pearsall was good, but I don't think he was as good as Luther Burton. So, yeah, the talent has been upgraded, and Billy Napier is solid as a play caller, but as much as I hate to say it, I don't think he's the same as Eli Dorkowitz. So I don't know how that works.
It's also fair to say that South Carolina tomorrow will face their toughest test at the receiving position. Luther Burden III and Theo Weiss Jr. are 2 dynamic guys. Remember, North Carolina was still trying to find some wide receivers. That was a huge question going into that game. Was it Kobe Paysour out of Gaffney, who ended up having a very good season for them?
And if you watched last week, you saw why North Carolina wanted Tez Walker on the field so much, because, boy.
Yeah. Georgia has good receivers, but I don't think they have Luther Burden and Theo Weiss Jr., not from what I've seen. South Carolina made the Mississippi State wide receiver look really, really good. I have to go back and see. I feel like if I look at his statistics, the majority of his big numbers are going to have come against South Carolina. So my point is, tomorrow you probably face the most dynamic offense that you faced all season. And Tennessee's dynamic. They move fast, but Joe Milton, you could put into some bad situations. Joe Milton does not throw it good on the run. Brady Cook and this offense is going to be, if you thought last week was such a disappointment, if South Carolina wanted an opportunity to make up for last week, if they wanted an opportunity, Preston, you're getting a really difficult opponent, but you're getting one where if you go out and you play better and you can limit Brady Cook and you can limit these wide receivers, you go, okay, maybe they really did fix some things. It's not like you now go up against a bad offense, and if you have a good showing, you go, oh, yeah, chalk that up. They're awful. No, Missouri's going to move the football tomorrow.
Which also, kind of on the flip side of that coin, is that if this game, let's say if South Carolina's defense was playing well all year, this game has the potential to have been a shootout anyway. So if if it does go to the numbers that we're talking about and it hits the over, that may not be indicative of how well or how not well the defense is playing, because this game seems like it was going to be won in the 30s regardless of whether either defense is playing well. Just thankfully this year we have an offense that we feel like can put some points on the board.
Yeah, just for the record, Toulouse Griffin, I think is what they were calling him, Toulouse. But Toulouse Griffin, the 5'10", 180-pound wide receiver that had 256 yards receiving against South Carolina, 7 catches, 256 yards. You know how many yards he has for the season?
258?
474. So little less, or a little more than half of his yardage on the season.
His highlight tape is just
all 7 catches. Just all 7 catches against South Carolina, just running deep. Yeah, remember that game. So Luther Burden, Theo Weiss Jr., look, it's fixable. It's fixable, but is it fixable in 4 days is the question. And South Carolina's going to have their hands full, and that goes back to our quarterback conversation. Brady Cook's been around. He's a solid player. He's in, as you just mentioned, he's in a system with a very good, very smart offensive play caller who's also the head coach. Yeah, you feel like Eli Drinkowitz flipped on the film from the last few weeks ago and has just been giddy at night trying to go to sleep thinking of ways to scheme up to get these guys open tomorrow.
Salivating. And these guys have history also, right? So Eli, I don't know if you remember this, but Eli and Clayton have history going back to NC State.
That's right.
So they were together on the same staffs, and I don't know what their relationship was. I don't know what it is. I don't know if there is a relationship. They're familiar with each other. I'd imagine that based on what I think I know about Eli's personality, I imagine Clayton wants to beat this guy.
Well, I would also imagine it could have just been a simple thing in practice where if they were kind of, and if you make us like, yeah, Eli Drinkowitz is a guy who it feels like carries the chip. Just the chip is always there and gets up in the morning, puts it on his shoulder, and heads off somewhere.
Because what you didn't hear, he referred to him as Clayton, but he said Coach White, which may be a whole nother thing. Like he's strictly formal with him. I don't know what that is. We're doing a little psychoanalysis here. But you didn't hear either side. You're like, oh, yeah, I worked with this guy. Because usually hear coaches say that. We've been together a couple stops, have a lot of respect for the guy. He's a great coach. Our kids grew up together. I didn't hear any of that. So I'm just wondering if something's there, or even better, if nothing is there. It's like, yeah, we were there at the same time, but we don't mess with each other.
Drinkowitz is an interesting guy. And I say that because he feels like the guy who wants to be Steve Spurrier and make the smart rear end comments. Like, was it last year? It was not this past summer, but remind me when the Oscar Delp recruitment was going on. I believe was that last. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Was that? If you remember, Shane Beamer went to SEC Media Days and was making comments about throwing. We're going to throw the tight end. We're going to throw tight ends. And the big story came out. I think Oscar Delp put the art interview out where he's like, yeah, he promised me we're going to catch 60 balls. And again, Beamer was at SEC Media Day talking about tight ends. He's a former tight end coach. If you remember, Eli Drinkowitz got up there and was like, oh, I just want to thank Shane for giving us the game plan for what they're going to do in the past. Like, it wasn't like a complete shot at Shane, but it was kind of just, it was something that I felt like Drinkowitz was saying to be funny and to kind of have that little comment without being completely over the top. But everybody's like, man, nobody likes you. You're not funny.
Let's go back in the room and call, please, sir.
Put your visor on and get back in there. 803-404-6100, how you can weigh in this morning. We'll get more into that, start to break down this guy. Settle down, this texter says, geez, guys, guess we should skip the game tomorrow. We didn't say that. We just, is it wrong to break down what the other team does really well?
I don't know if you watched last week's game or the week before that. Or the week before that or the last 5 games. Our defense is not playing well. Missouri's offense is playing well. I'm not saying that we should skip. That's why we play the game. However, there's reason for concern here.
Yeah, like we get yelled at here on the text line when we hype up the team and they lose. We will get into the fact Missouri's defense, pass defense, not very good either. Missouri's pass defense,
there you go,
not exactly a strength either. And Spencer Rattler is having a pretty doggone good year. We'll talk about more of that later on in the hour. We'll get into a lot of this. 803-404-6100. Hope just telling it like it is. Eli is a jack fleet. We're in that period, by the way, where kids are going to school. I got to watch the language. So you can, right now, the kids.
We got to give Clayton some truth serum and just like tell us how you really feel about this guy, man. Just let us know.
803-404-6100. Up next is the high school highlights of the week. Chris Deering joins us. It's the early game.
Here's what's coming up on the game.
No winner again this week. The Lawyer Lisa Special Teams Touchdown Contest pot is up to $700. Go to 1075thegame.com to register.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 1075 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Holiday season around the corner, spending time with family. You need to be at your absolute best. You don't need to have low energy levels. You don't need to have a lack of drive or motivation. You don't need to be struggling with concentration and memory. None of those three things are good for men. And sometimes as men, we push through these things. We think we'll just get better. We don't decide. We need to talk about it. But you know what? There's a place you can go and you can get help. The Men's Clinic. Dr. Dan Balknight, been working with men for over 20 years, helping you get back to living the life you want. And Dr. Dan realizes that you need specific individualized treatment. Maybe you just have low testosterone. Maybe it's just something that simple. Call the Men's Clinic today and schedule an appointment. 803-875-MENS. Again, that's 803-875-MENS. You can get a free testosterone test. Maybe it's just something that simple, and you can get back to living the life you want. The Men's Clinic sees patients seeking help for a variety of symptoms. Maybe you have one of those. Contact them today, 803-875-MENS.
Herndon Certified. Herndon Certified used vehicles are quality assured and come with our 60-day warranty, complete with nationwide coverage. Don't just buy a used car. Buy a Herndon Certified used car and drive with confidence, knowing Herndon's got you covered. Find your perfect pre-owned in-store or online at HerndonChevy.com.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile.
Hello, my name is Joe Wilson, Member of Congress. I'm honored to serve the people of the 2nd District of South Carolina and want to make sure you know that our office is here to help you. Red tape can be overwhelming, so if you need assistance with veterans benefits, Social Security, Medicare, or other issues, please contact the office at area code 803-939-0041 or the website joewilson.house.gov. We are here to help you, paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
At Kroger, we know the minute a tomato is picked, the fresh timer starts. The sooner we get our produce to you, the fresher it is. That's why we've shortened the time from harvest to home for our tasty tomatoes, strawberries, and salads. So no matter how you shop, you have more time with your fresh produce. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Be sure to check out our 99-cent produce sale happening now. You'll save on apples, pears, onions, and more with your car. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
What's next second title with approved credit card at 841-17640 for details. For the first time ever and maybe the last time, JT is taking up to $12,000 off new Ram trucks at JT's Jeep Ram Lexington. Plus new Jeeps up to $11,000 off. Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, Gladiator. And JT's offering you up to 20% more for your trade. Up to $6,000 more. 12 grand off new Rams, 11 grand off new Jeeps at JT's Jeep Ram Lexington. JT'sJeepRam.com. Ram Power Days.
This is Larry Lightner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing. And for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Liner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
The early game.
With Bill Gunter, former Gamecock Preston Thorne, and Jen Jensen, your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
107.5 Game traffic. Sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections. South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
Few accidents out there to let you know about. I-26 eastbound there at Airport Boulevard. The right lane is blocked. Highway Patrol is on the scene, so trying to get that cleared up. Also, Lincoln Street, both east and westbound near Blossom Street, there was a train derailment, so the road is closed in that 300 block of Lincoln. Aside from that, everything else moving along fairly well this morning, and we're looking for some rain coming in around lunchtime today. 72 for the high, rain throughout the afternoon and evening. 75 with sunny skies tomorrow and Sunday. It's 54 right now.
Football Friday. Sponsored by Brian's Heating and Cooling. On your home of the Gamecocks. In Columbia, 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
$7:18 on a Friday morning. Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen, and joined now, as he does each and every Friday from Prep Red Zone Network. It's the one and only Chris Deering. And Chris, I was asking Preston right at the beginning of the show, with the weather, with everything feeling good. This feels like the first true fall weekend of the year. You in agreement with that?
Yeah, it'll be, kickoff tonight will be in the lower 60s probably for most teams across the state, and that's a little bit more football weather. You get down to the 50s, upper 40s around this area. I think that's common this time of year, and it gets your juices flowing a little bit more. You don't have to worry about sweating to death out there, and the humidity and the weather bulb and all that other factor. But yeah, it sort of feels like football, and a lot of teams played last night. Expected rain across the state today, and I don't know if I fully understand this concept of not playing in the rain, but a lot of teams moved games up to last night and had a handful of games across the state. A lot of teams in the PD region and over by Myrtle Beach played last night. A couple here in Columbia area, but so a lot of teams played last night. I was able to get out last night and going back out again tonight. So it's football season. 2 weeks left in the regular season. Like I said, it feels like we just started talking about this a couple weeks ago, but it's been almost 3 months now, and we getting ready to come to the close next Friday night. But a lot of football left to be played, a lot of things still to be played for, and that's what it's all about this time of year.
All right, let's go through a couple. Let's fire through a couple tonight, and then you can give us a recap of last night. Let's start right here in town. Big Skeeza matchup tonight. Porter Gallup out of Charleston, traveling up 6-2 in the year, over at Corey Helms, Cardinal Newman team. They are 7-1 on the season. Give me a little thought on that.
Well, that's actually the one of the ones that played last night, Bill.
Thank you so much. There we go. Look at me doing a good job.
That was a shootout over at Cardinal Newman. Porter Gallup came up from the Charleston area and won 49-42. Surprised me a little bit. I think I expected Cardinal Newman to win that game, but like I said, that's two really good Skeeza teams. I think you got to lump them right in there with Hammond as the top three teams in Skeeza this year in that classification. And I don't have any stats yet. Usually I get them midday after Cardinal Newman plays, the day after, so I should be getting those later this afternoon. But good win for Porter Gallup coming up from Charleston. I think those teams will probably see each other again in the state semifinals, and based on that win, I think Porter Gallup will be the home team the next time, and probably the winner will face Hammond in the championship.
Okay, now I have zero confidence in the schedule I have. That was right off the bat. Lost complete confidence in the accuracy of the schedule I have, whether it was last night or night. So I'm just going to ask you games, and you tell me what we know about. Let's go down to Charleston. We don't ever give love Nobody gives love to the poor Somerville Green Wave. No clue what they're doing. They just somehow made it to 8-0.
So tough out.
Somerville against the world, basically. And they take on 7-1 Ashley Ridge, where they maybe played last night.
No, that game was actually tonight. I'm sure you got some nudging from Preston to talk about Somerville this week. They're good. I mean, there's no question about it. But I do think this Ashley Ridge team is sneaky good as well. Like I said, they're 7-1. I think their only loss, I'm looking it up right now, was to Fort Dorchester. And, that's no shame in that one. Yet Fort Dorchester beat them 40-22. Like I said, they're really good. They score a lot of points. I think that game's going to be a sort of a high-scoring game. Somerville, again, I think one of the more underrated guys in the state is Yannick Smith. They're fantastic wide receiver. He's committed to East Carolina. We don't probably talk about him enough. He's done a little bit of everything for that Somerville team all season long. I think last week he had over 200 yards receiving as they beat West Ashley 48-30. I expect that type of score again this week in that game with Ashley Ridge. Ashley Ridge has got some guys. I mean, they've been building for this for a while. So has Somerville. Like I said, 2 years ago they started a bunch of 10th graders and they took their lumps. And those guys are seniors right now, and it's paying off. And again, that's a talented Somerville team, and I expect that to be a good game tonight. But I think the lower state 5A and the playoffs could be a pretty fantastic setting. Somerville, Fort Dorchester, White Knoll, who won the region last night by beating Chapin. All those teams will be in the lower state, and that's going to be a really good time in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, you referred to them as Ashley Ridge. I only know them as Trashley Ridge.
Oh, yeah, wow.
Continue.
Oh my goodness.
We're not.
Seriously, were they around when you played Preston?
That's a good point. The way the lines are drawn up now, I would have been going to Trashley Ridge.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Somerville, Coach McKissick got creative with the lines. Let's just say
they weaved odd rights and lefts to get into people's backyard and compass. Yeah, okay. Real quick, I was going to ask you about White Knoll because the turnaround for them obviously has been absolutely fantastic. They beat Lexington last week, and then as you just mentioned, I knew they did play last night. But just talk about White Knoll and what they've done here in this year.
Yeah, the turnaround Nick Pelham's had at that program. Again, another school when Pelham got there, he started a lot of sophomores, and those kids are seniors now, and it's paying off. And I was going to do a deep dive this week into their defensive stats. Haven't seen them from last night yet. I know it was 21-0 late in the game. Chapin scored twice in the last 2 minutes, or it was 20-0. Chapin scored twice in the last 2 minutes to make it 20-14. But I don't think, unless Chapin went over 200 yards last night, they've only given up 200 yards to one opponent this season, and that is pretty spectacular in this day and age. Last week against Lexington, I think they held them to under 100 yards total offense. Shut them out 16-0. That defense they're nasty. I mean, there's just no two ways about it. I think they can put that defense on the field and play against anybody. 17, 21 points might win it for them. So that I want to do a deep dive into them this week and see exactly. I don't know how many first half points they've given up this year. They shut out Lexington. Dutch Fork, I know, didn't score in the first half when they played them. They shut out River Bluff. They shut out Chapin in the first half. So in region games, they did not give up a point in the first half. I was going to go back and look at their whole season and see what they've done. So, sometimes in the late games, you give up some scores when you got some backups in, but that's a good football team, and they're going to be a favorite, in my opinion, in the lower state with Somerville. They might be on a collision course to meet. Don't have the brackets right in front of me to see when they would play each other, but that would be a very interesting matchup with that great Somerville offense against a really good White Knoll defense. But, I mean, again, the job Nick Pelham's done is as good as anybody in the state. Kudos to him and his coaching staff. He's got a great coaching staff, great assistant coaches. He came over from Dutch Fork. He was the defensive coordinator at Dutch Fork. during their championship run, and he's brought that mentality to White Knoll, and they fall into it, and that's a really good football team. And, I was talking about their seniors, but they got a lot of good youngsters too. They're starting running backs and freshmen, so they got some kids waiting in the wings that's really good.
Few other games we want to get to. We'll catch a break real quick, come back. I'll hope that my schedule I've got is accurate for games. Otherwise, Chris will just carry us through. That's why he's here each and every week. We'll get to a few more games when we come back. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen, and it's a High School Highlights Football Friday with Chris Deering, the early game.
Here's what's coming up on the game.
Carolina Calls with Shane Beamer, live from Backstreet Grill in Columbia. Thursday at 6 p.m.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Preston here for Integrated Media. We told you all along, it's time for you to get ready. Spring, summer, beginning of the season. The season is halfway through, and you still haven't gotten yourself taken care of. So call up folks at Integrated Media to get yourself taken care of. Sonos speakers, outdoor, Wi-Fi, and my favorite, controlling all your devices from just one remote. From home theater setup to adjusting your thermostat or monitoring your security systems from your cell phone, Integrated Media is the company that you need to call. So call Nathan and Michael at 803-948-8327. That's 803-948-8327. Or check them out online at integratedmediainc.com. That's online at integratedmediainc.com.
It's a Texas showdown in the postseason, and BetOnline is your number one source for all your baseball wagering info. With up-to-the-minute stats, news, scores, and matchup breakdowns. Get the latest game odds, spreads, and totals for pro and college football with BetOnline's real-time updates. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Did you know State Credit Union offers an excellent online and mobile banking platform? Check your balances, transfer funds, apply for a loan, and pay bills when it's convenient for you. Not a member yet? Joining is easy. Visit them online to learn more. SCSCU.com. That's SCSCU.com. State Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Let's text second title with approved credit card at 841-7640 for details. For the first time ever and maybe the last time, JT is taking up to $12,000 off new Ram trucks at JT's Jeep Ram Lexington. Plus new Jeeps up to $11,000 off. Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, Gladiator. And JT's offering you up to 20% more for your trade. Up to $6,000 more. $12,000 off new Rams, $11,000 off new Jeeps at JT's Jeep Ram Lexington. JT'sJeepRam.com. Ram Power Days.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? I'm Dr. Mark Bentley with Columbia Secret for Weight Loss, and I know the secret. Our unique weight loss program makes it easy to lose weight, get healthy, and get your energy back naturally, safely, and effectively. If you'd like to lose unhealthy fat without counting points or calories, no exercising, no prepackaged or boxed meals, no surgery, and no hypnosis, call my office now at 803-824-4210.
Columbia's Secret for Weight Loss changed my life. I've lost over 50 pounds, and now I have metabolic flexibility. To me, this program is more than just about fat loss. It's about a lifestyle. Throughout this program, the guidance and accountability help create a pathway to a healthier, better me.
Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month. It's a half a pound to a pound per day. For your free private weight loss consultation, call 803-824-4210. That's 803-824-4210. Or ColumbiaSecretForWeightLoss.com.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet. No pressure buying. Best in class service. And a $1,000 low price guarantee. The season's always better in a Love Chevrolet. I-26 at Harbison and at LoveChevy.com. Find new roads.
Susie Schuster and Amy Trask present offbeat conversations and expert sports commentary as they ask, what the football?
When my family found out how long it took me to figure out why Charles Woodson named his wine Intercept, they said, there's a reason that you had trouble in school.
You know, not everyone knows, when they think of a bottle of Intercept, they don't know that I play football.
Well, what I've learned is a smooth defensive back can make smooth wine.
That's what it's all about.
What the Football. The podcast is available Tuesdays, wherever you listen.
1075 The Game On Demand podcast menu.
Sponsored by Lexington Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
If you're dealing with injuries or pain, our team is here to get you better sooner.
On the home of the Gamecocks, 1075 The Game. 1075 The Game traffic. Sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 1075 The Game.
Still getting things cleaned up from the earlier accident. I-26 eastbound at Airport Boulevard. Traffic is moving better now, so a little more time, and that should be completely cleared. Lincoln Street, both eastbound and westbound near Blossom Street, that's currently closed because of a train derailment. So basically, road is closed in the 300 block of Lincoln Street. Forecast for today, we're going to be seeing some rain, and that's going to be starting in maybe around lunchtime or so, and that should be continuing potentially into the evening, and looking for a high today of 72, but sunny the rest of the weekend.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
On your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 1075 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
$7:33 on a Friday morning, the high school highlights of the week. Chris Deering joining us as he does each and every week to break down what's going on. Let's get right back into it. Rick helping me out here, so I know this game taking place tonight. It is on my schedule. Big game. Crestwood and Camden, according to Rick, this morning, Camden going for 5 straight region championships, which would be a school record, Chris. Don't wait. All right, now go. Now we're ready.
Oh, you ready?
Yeah, now we're good. Go.
Okay, that is where I'm going tonight. Crestwood and Camden. That's going to be a fantastic game. I'm looking back right now. I don't know the last time Crestwood has beaten Camden, but that's going to be. I expect big things out of this game tonight. That I have these two teams ranked in my top 8 in Class 3A. I know Camden stumbled a little bit early. Crestwood lost to a great collegiate team early, and that's their only loss. The battle of quarterbacks in this one, two sort of different styles, but Javion Martin for Crestwood is, probably getting close to 2,000 yards on the season now. One of the best quarterbacks in the state. Grayson White, 3-year starter for Camden, 225, 230 pounds, big kid. Can run it, can throw it. Got some weapons, and the Mayrant kid at wide receiver. That's going to be a fantastic game over in Camden. Historic Zip Stadium. Does not get any better than that. If it does rain, I just heard Jen's forecast. If it does rain, I still expect a packed house. That's going to be a great atmosphere. It's going to be that's right there is what high school football is going to be about. That's what it's all about tonight. What we can see in Camden. I'm excited to get over there. I'll try to get over there early. Talk to both coaches before the game, but I like this Crestwood team. I don't think they're getting the respect they deserve across the state. If they win tonight, I think they might start to get that. But this Camden team, like you said, they're going for 5 straight region titles. They're not going to give it away easy. So I expect that to be a game played well into the fourth quarter, and this could be again. I can't wait to get there. That's all I can say about this game. Been talking about this one with some people all week long, and this could be a great high school football game.
Really quickly, can you mention the Camden coach by name? I forget his name.
Brian Rimpf.
Brian Rimpf. He's done a tremendous job out there at Camden. Obviously, coming in replacing a legend in Coach Neal, and he's been tremendous out there. So I wanted to make sure to give him a shout out. Yeah,
he's been great. I think he's already got the playoff beard. He grows a big beard every year. I don't think he shaves from the time the season starts till they finish playing. And I'm sure he's got the big playoff beard ready to go. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting over there about 6 o'clock and talking to him early tonight.
Matt from Manning, real quick, wants your take on Lawrence Manning Academy taking on Orangeburg Prep tonight.
Orangeburg, you got to give me 1 second to look up that one, Bill.
Yeah, I took a chance.
Lawrence Manning.
Try to make everybody happy out there.
I understand, and I got stuff pulled up right here. I can talk about Lawrence Manning if you give me 1 second. We don't this area. We focus on the Hammond, Carter Newman, Ben Lippman, Heathwood Hall. So don't get into the seasons outside of here. But Lawrence Manning is 6-2 on the season. They beat Porter-Gaud 2 weeks ago. So looks like a really good team. They did play Hammond earlier this year, played them really close, 20-6. So Lawrence Manning is 6-2 on the season. Orangeburg Prep, don't know a whole lot about them at all. I think they're in 3A in Skeeza, actually. I might be wrong about that. I don't even see.
We'll save you.
We'll
move on. We'll move on. Here, let's go to another one that I want your opinion. Obviously, I follow recruiting. I don't know how much you've had a chance to lay eyes on Cam Pringle, but tonight, my buddies Brian Flanagan, Joel Sanders, they're Barnwell War Horses. The War Horses taking on Woodland. Woodland 6-1 on the season. Cam Pringle, the 6'7", 330-pound offensive lineman, he has dropped, and this is why I bring it up, Chris, a little bit at least in the 24/7 sports rankings. He's still a 4-star. He's still a top 200 player, but I think a lot of people had him as much closer to a top 50 player. Have you had a chance to see him or what you've heard about him and his progress during his senior year at Woodland?
I have not had a chance to see him this season. Woodland is sort of off the beaten path down in the Low Country. I will tell you, they got taken to the woodshed last week against Hampton County. Hampton County beat them 64-0. But yeah, Cam Pringle has dropped. Talk about the 24/7. He's dropped a little bit. He was our number 1 ranked player on Prep Red Zone for the 2024 class, and we've replaced him in our latest rankings as the top guy. It's hard to get any film on him. It's hard to get any photos of him. It's just been, I don't know, that they're keeping it, close to the vest down there at Woodland. I do think they need to bounce back tonight. Like if a Barnwell team has played better here recently. I know they had a rough patch in the non-region, but they beat Edisto 2 weeks ago, beat Richland Hardyville last week. So Woodland's got to bounce back against a Barnwell team that's 5-3. The winner of that will probably finish second in the region. I don't think anybody's could beat Hampton County. I know Hampton County's still got to play Barnwell next week. So Barnwell's got the chance the next 2 weeks that they could win the region if they win the next 2 weeks. So big 2 weeks for them. And yeah, Cam Pringle he's been a mystery to a lot of people, I think, this year because not a lot of people have seen him play.
Interesting. We'll try and keep an eye on that. 2 big ones tonight. Let's get to these. Silver Bluff 6-2 on the season, taking on another top flight recruit in the state, Braylon Staley, currently committed to Tennessee. South Carolina making a push. Silver Bluff and Strawn Thurman tonight.
Yeah, that's the one that I have circled as well. This could be a really good one. We talked last week about Saluda having the best. Strawn Thurman beat Saluda 2 weeks ago, but Saluda bounced back last week and beat Silver Bluff 15-14. So now this week is Strawn Thurman and Silver Bluff. Silver Bluff really needs a win to stay afloat in that region. But Strawn Thurman's good. They throw it all over the football field, and they do a lot of good things. You talked about Braylon Staley. Their quarterback's really good. He's sort of on their radar guy, but that's going to be, again, you talking about atmosphere. That's going to be a great atmosphere. I think this at Strawn Thurman, they pack it out over there. I've been over there, I think, twice to watch games, and they pack it out over there as well. So that region may be one of the better 2A regions in the state with those 3 teams. And, somebody can finish third out of those 3, and they got to go on the road in the first round of the playoffs, and that's going to be a tough out for somebody playing a home game in the first round.
Maybe the game of the night in the state, 6-2 South Point traveling to 7-1 Northwestern.
Yep, that's one that got my eye on as well in the upstate. Northwestern is just really, I thought York could give them a little bit better game. I thought Indiana in a couple of weeks should give them a little bit of a game, but they've blown everybody out. And now they play in their crosstown rival in South Point tonight. And, if they win that one big, they are definitely the upper state favorite in 4A. And we talked about Turbo Richards, they're a great running back. The quarterback's good. They're explosive. I mean, they're averaging over 50 points a game for a reason. Nobody's going to slow them down. Maybe a West Side in the upper state can play with them and make it a little bit closer. Looking at their scores, I mean, they lost their season opener to Providence State 42-35. That's the least amount of points they've scored this year in the season. The last 3 weeks, 56, 45, 59. So they're scoring a lot of points. And South Point, they've lost twice this year, which is maybe, they lost to a good Gaffney team. They lost by 3 points to South Florence, who's number 1 ranked in 4A. They would be in the lower state bracket in the playoffs. So they probably want to, make sort of a statement tonight and try to get back on the winning ways, win that region if they win this one. And so it'll be interesting how things happen up there in Rock Hill.
Chris, we always appreciate it. A lot of good information, a lot of good games tonight. No, we didn't get to everyone that we wanted to cover, but should be a great night, and we will look forward to catching up with you again next week.
All right, sounds good. Y'all have a great weekend.
Appreciate you.
Take care. Real quick, Preston LeVar weighed in. What do y'all think about Ashley Ridge chances against Somerville?
I don't think they're very good.
There you go. There you go, LeVar. We answered that on the live stream. That's all you need to know. We actually did discuss that one. Preston very succinct and to the point there with his analysis.
That's right.
That's all that matters.
Go Greenway.
Is Eli Drinkwitz the most despised coach by South Carolina fans? Because text messages and our live stream seem to indicate so. We'll ask that when we come back. Is Eli Drinkwitz the most despised coach? And across, or maybe Kim Mulkey. I feel like it's one of the two. 803-404-6100. We'll be back.
Here's what's coming up on the game.
The South Carolina
Do you want to try recording any of this?
Party at O'Hara's on Main Street in Lexington at 3:30 p.m. You can win tickets to future Gamecocks home games and Carowinds passes.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. When Tyreek Hill declared 2,000 receiving yards was his goal, critics scoffed. After becoming the first NFL receiver to record 150-plus yards in 4 of his first 6 games, the Cheetahs on pace. Miami's schedule is going to get a little bit tougher here, but with 4 of their last 5 games at home, I believe he's got an excellent shot at that 2,000-yard number. I'm Boomer Esiason.
Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/win and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/win. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
Must be present in a state where lawful to wager, must be 21 plus and present in select states. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino LLC. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG. Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Tennessee, and Virginia. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. In Arizona, 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat. In Connecticut, 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana, 1-800-522-4700 or visit KSGamblingHelp.com in Kansas, 1-877-770 STOP in Louisiana. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia or call 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelpma.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.
Text entitled with approved credit call 888-320-6359 for details. Never before and maybe never again. South Carolina's Kia Giant. JT's Kia goes where no Kia dealer has gone before. Save thousands off new Kias. Save thousands in interest. 3.75% Telluride, Sorrento's, Carnivals. Get 20% more for your trade. Up to $6,000 more. No payments till next year. And never ever pay more than sticker. South Carolina's Kia Giant. JT'sKia.com.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your crawl space and damaging your home. Musty smells, sagging floors, mold, are just a few signs your crawl space is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns: a free home inspection from Mount Valley Foundation Services. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at fixmyfoundation.com.
Life matters. I recently read an article called Effective Pastoral Leadership for Today. I read the advice of this world-famous preacher and caught myself smiling from time to time because I knew his advice wouldn't work. Oh, he was no charlatan, and his methods worked for him. The problem is that he was writing to preachers in the 80s, the 1880s. His strategy was simply out of date because so much has changed in society since he wrote the article. But two things he wrote about are still exactly on track for today. His philosophy was built upon these two ideas: that God loves people and that no problem we have is too big for Jesus to solve. It reminded me of Psalm 62, which says, "You, O Lord, are powerful, and with you is steadfast love. Some things never change." This is Stephen Chitty from Christian Life Church, reminding you that life matters, and so do you. Go to clcolumbia.com for in-person and live streaming service times.
Football Friday. Sponsored by Brian's Heating and Cooling. On your home of the Gamecocks. In Columbia, 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Up and at 'em here as we roll along. Big thank you to Chris Deering for joining us there. The high school highlights of the week. Should be a fun night across the state. Should feel great across the night. Preston, I know people are now weighing in. Oh, we got some good ones. I really now that I've brought it up though, six text messages on the Firehouse Subs line, one on the YouTube live stream. You can go to youtube.com, search 107.5 The Game. And I say this because I don't think there is a connection with Missouri that would bring a lot of. Sophia Cunningham tried her hardest, I think. But then most people are just like, it's Missouri.
Right.
It's Missouri. People seem to really, when you get really worked up over Eli Drinkowitz. You called him Eli Dorkowitz.
Mm-hmm.
You've had to kind of back that down.
I did.
But, I mean, I'll go back to some of these text messages. Now, I got 7 in the last few minutes, but on new guys. But there was people on here that just do not like or are not fans of Eli Drinkowitz. And Hope says most people forget Missouri even exists. It's true. Michael Lynn weighing in said Shane can't stand Eli. Hope actually, again, said Eli is a jack bleep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was people that are really just weighing in this morning that do not like Eli Drinkowitz, and it makes me wonder if he is the most despised coach. Let's go currently for South Carolina fans in the SEC. Now, DC goes Dabo hands down. I don't even know if South Carolina fans despise Dabo to the level they seem to despise Drinkowitz. Let me give you a couple here, though, on the Firehouse Subs text line. Ron from Lake Marion weighs in. Lane Kiffin and the clipboard throw will never be forgotten.
I'm working on something here. Keep going.
Robert says they are likely in the top 5, but overall, there is Dabo Swinney. There's plenty of disdain for that fella.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Soda City Bobby goes a little bit old. He doesn't follow the criteria, but he says we're talking all the time. Hands down, Urban Meyer, undisputed king of dirtbags.
Mm-hmm. Fair assessment.
2 people weighing in and going very aggressively on this, and it's with the same coach. Monty says Kim Mulkey is a disgusting human. Dorkowitz is just a dork that we can't beat. Anonymous texter follows that up with I think I could be wrong. I think this texter left a word out, or is going the exact opposite. Says I personally like Kim Mulkey. Oh, you like Kim Mulkey? Oh, we're not supposed to. A couple of y'all else waiting. Brandon, Eli Drinkwitz is a nerd. That's all. Joey says it's the smirk he always has. Dabo will always be the most disliked, followed by Eli or maybe Stoops. Mark Stoops working his way into the conversation. Greg says Drinkwitz reminds me of that annoyingly smart family member who constantly is getting on your nerves, but you just can't get rid of them.
Eli's definitely a well-actually guy. Well, actually, that's not it. Well, technically, he's definitely that dude.
What are you working on over there?
One of the texts hit it on the head, man. Yes, he's a dork, but the problem is we can't beat the dork, and that is what it seems like the common thread of all the coaches that we dislike very strongly is that they beat us.
Oh, you know what? That's a really good point.
You see what I'm saying?
So
There's
this
strong
text,
correlation here.
Texter Ways says, I think we despise him because it drives us crazy that we can't beat them even when we have better players.
That's where it really gets into. It's like, man, not what? This guy?
Texter Ways in, I'm not a fan of violence, but Eli has a punchable face. See, I don't know if even Dabo is bringing out these emotions anymore, but some of y'all are still going Dabo. Mitch goes Dabo, not close.
Well, maybe it's just the fire for Dabo has sort of waned because this has been for a long time. We've had this going. This is established. We know this is going to be, and Dabo's not going to change who he is. So maybe we must all come to accept that.
I was going to say, he is making and has made so much flipping money, he couldn't care less what anybody thinks about him. So he is not about change. No, I'm talking about Dabo.
Oh, Dabo's. I don't know. I think Dabo's a little. I mean, did you see his comment this past week about, man, maybe we need to lose a little bit to throw people to have people leave the bandwagon? It was getting a little bit. I forget the exact word, but it was basically he says a couple losses doesn't hurt because we need people to maybe hop off the bandwagon a little bit.
I mean, I think that's fair, but I also wonder if it's a kind of a saving face kind of a comment.
Always.
Yeah.
I think that the issue with Eli is that he's owned us.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes, he has. He's 4-0.
That's the problem.
He's 4-0. He's 3-0 at Missouri and 1-0 at Appalachian State.
That's a big problem.
And again, he's won 2019, 2020. So he's won 4 consecutive years because 2019 was Appalachian State.
Just imagine how Mizzou's going to feel when our coach with a broken foot on a scooter beats them this
their
weekend.
butt.
Imagine how that's going to feel. Anyway, we let the dude on a scooter beat us.
Here's the thing I ask about. Here's the thing I ask about Dabo. Like, do we just? Could you insert any Clemson coach? Tommy Bowden, Tommy West, Ken Hatfield.
Nah, Dabo's special.
Yeah,
Dabo has a special, unique ability to bring about emotions.
A couple of y'all weighing in. Yeah.
I mean, do we even remember Tommy West? All right, whatever.
Yeah. 803-404-6100. We'll get back into that a little bit. We'll get back into some quarterback discussion. Preston's got a burning question. I just answered my burning question. We'll get to Preston's burning question. Hour 3 on the way. Bill Gunner for AAA Heating and Air. I tell you what, we're talking about how tonight is going to feel fantastic. Fall is here, crisp nights, breezy evenings. It feels absolutely fantastic outside, but that is just a prelude to cold winters. And if you've heard me talk about it, I despise the cold. I cry when it's cold. That's why AAA Heating and Air, I made sure last year I had a brand new heating and air unit installed to keep me warm. And AAA Heating and Air will take care of you and your family as well. Right now, they're offering complimentary unit checkups to our senior citizens. If you are 62 years of age or older, or your family, if you have a family member 62 years of age or older, contact AAA Heating and Air today. 803-677-1500. Mention you heard it right here on 107.5 The Game with Bill Gunner. And that parent, that senior citizen, 62 years of age or older, will get a complimentary unit checkup. 803-677-1500. Again, tell them you heard it right here on 107.5 The Game with Bill Gunner.
107.5 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.
Discover Herndon Certified. Herndon Chevrolet's premier used car warranty. Shop with complete confidence knowing Herndon Chevrolet has got you covered.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
The Powerball jackpot for Saturday is $70 million. Be sure to stop by your local South Carolina Education Lottery retailer and get your ticket today. See SCEducationlottery.com for jackpot odds and a store near you.
Let's text second title with approved credit card at 841-7640 for details. For the first time ever and maybe the last time, JT is taking up to $12,000 off new Ram trucks at JT's Jeep Ram Lexington. Plus new Jeeps up to $11,000 off. Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, Gladiator. And JT's offering you up to 20% more for your trade. Up to $6,000 more. 12 grand off new Rams, 11 grand off new Jeeps at JT's Jeep Ram Lexington. JT'sJeepRam.com. Ram Power Days.
When you make a large purchase like a home, experience always matters. At Lexington Discount Homes, with thousands of satisfied customers, they're here to make your own home a reality. Located at 1847 Augusta Highway in Lexington, stop by and see such brands as Scott Built, Fleetwood, Live Oak, Cabco, and Clayton. Lexington Discount Homes, 1847 Augusta Highway in Lexington, or call 951-1900. When experience matters, come to the experts. LexingtonDiscountHomes.com.
This week only, you can get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned plus a free hallway from Zerorez for only $109. This offer ends this week, so schedule your appointment now before it's too late. Schedule online at ZerorezColumbia.com.
Gotta take.
Hit us up on the Firehouse Subs text line.
Firehouse Subs, founded by firemen.
803-404-6100.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
1075 The Game.
And now an important message from Amanda Klutz.
Our lives have truly changed since March 2020. Broadway dimmed their lights, but my biggest light, my husband, Nick Cordero, passed.
1075 The Game traffic. Sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 1075 The Game.
Accidents have been clear. That is good news for sure. I-26 eastbound at Airport Boulevard still may be a little bit slow, but it's clear, so things should be getting back to normal for sure. We are going to see some rain starting around lunchtime today, going into this evening. Today's high is 72, and then sunny 75 for Saturday and Sunday. Nice start to your morning. 55 on Near the Game.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
This is Josh Simon, your South Carolina Gamecocks tight end. You are now listening to 1075 The Game.
A Cumulus media station. Football Friday.
Sponsored by Brian's Heating and Cooling.
Brian's Heating and Cooling, where they take your comfort personally. Give them a call for all your commercial and residential comfort needs. 803-796-1788 or briansheatingandcooling.com.
Antoine Juice Wells breaks away at the 30, 20, going for the pylon at the 5, dives for it. Call it. Touchdown, Carolina.
Football Friday on your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 1075 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Final segment of the hour. Just think, next weekend, I don't know how everybody does it. I'm assuming, Preston, and you know what they say about assuming? That everybody will have their big Halloween parties next weekend. Does that seem about right? Like at our age? Am I wrong on this? Like you don't run the risk of a Halloween party on a Tuesday night, which is when it would be. You don't run the risk. That's
strictly the weekend.
Something could go wrong. You could dress up as like Dracula and have white kind of powder on your face. Then it gets stuck there and you got to go to the office on Wednesday morning. You could overindulge and forget to take your costume off and show up on November 1st. So everybody next weekend will be gearing up for their Halloween parties. That is correct?
That sounds fair.
Is that a Friday night, you think? When it's like that, is it a Friday night Halloween party or a Saturday night?
Well, what age them are we talking?
Oh, I think you got to go 28 and over because I think anything 27 and under, you're partying all weekend.
That's
You
true.
got 2 costumes.
Yeah, as the students told me, it's Halloween weekend.
Yes.
So it's Halloween weekend. Yeah, 28 and over.
I feel like because about 28 is about the time, typically, not for everybody, but you've got probably at least one child who's at an early age, 2, 3, 4. You might have a second on the way. You might
there's a distinct point in everybody's life when you get off work on Friday and you either go out or you go home. And I don't know what age
there's
that
two.
is.
There's a window where you don't. From about 27, so I'm not condoning underage drinking here, but let's be honest, from about 18 to about 27, basically I'd say the end of your high school career when you're kind of disassociated from mom and dad and you're kind of from about that age, end of your high school, whatever age that comes to about 27, that's where you probably Friday afternoon happy hour occurs, I would say pretty frequently.
Yes.
At about 28, that comes to a screeching halt.
Yeah, it just stops.
The Friday noon happy hour is get to the daycare or wherever the children are at, pick them up, come back home, discuss dinner, pizza, whatever you're going to do, and maybe there and you're on your back porch with your fire pit and maybe your neighbors.
Yeah.
But it's not an outwardly.
No, not that. That's what I'm saying. Fridays, that's where it's a key crucial moment of, are you going to go out or are you going to stay home? Then you advance to the level where maybe Saturday is the day that you get, and then also you advance past that also.
Well, but then about 48, you go back to meeting everybody for the happy hour.
That's very possible.
So about 28 to 48, I was talking actually to my daughter last night about this. She'll be a freshman at Gilbert, and I kind of sadly put 2 and 2 together. My Friday nights completely disappear next year because she will be cheering for Gilbert High School. And I went, oh, yeah, all right. I'll be attending a lot of Gilbert games, which I think also she's in school now, so I can bring up this question without her hearing it. She doesn't listen to me anyway. What is the obligation of the cheer parent with away football games?
I would like to say, what's the obligation of any parent, period? I mean, I don't know if you have to go to every game. I just want to put that out there.
That might be a summertime.
I just want to put that out there for anybody listening. Liberate yourself.
What is
your child plays? You don't. You can drop them off and pick them up. They will play the game just fine without you.
Well, Tony Annan said that his parents never came to his soccer matches.
I just want to let you know it is very possible that you do not have to be at every game. I'm going to say that.
803-404-6100 is how you can weigh in. All right, so I think we've at least, outside of Dabo, which I get, I think we are narrowing it down a little bit to most disliked SEC coaches. Mark Stoops is apparently much higher up there than I realized. Zach weighs in and says, Mark Stoops did take a direct shot at Beamer and then back down when asked about it.
He did. And that was cowardly. He said it. He should have stood on it. He talked about the glasses and all that stuff. Meanwhile, he's the same guy who brings the blue lunch pail or whatever they bring in Kentucky. So, yeah, he
then whines about Georgia buying players.
Yeah. He also wears those real cop glasses on the sideline.
Okay. John weighs in. He goes with Bobby Hill up in Rocky Top, otherwise known as Josh Heupel. And Josh Heupel seems to be the other one that a lot of you have had about enough of.
I've never heard that one before. That's a good one.
Bobby Hill. I can kind of see that. Yeah, Dabo still leading the way. And we can do that. We can all kind of make fun of Dabo, and they've got a big one. They've got a big one tomorrow night. And really, it's a big one for both teams. I didn't listen to the segment yesterday, but College Football Live had a segment on who needs a win more, and they were going through several games this weekend. Miami or Clemson. And I again, it's not for a playoff spot. It's not for anything like that. But it does feel like if Miami, after that Georgia Tech game, and then Miami gets beat by North Carolina last week, and it does feel like if Miami loses this one, it's kind of like the Jimbo Fisher thing at Texas A&M, where he's having some level of success, but not to the point that the fan base wanted it. If Clemson goes in there and puts it on Miami again, and Clemson, I think, has put it on Miami about the last 2 or 3. I mean, put it on them. If Clemson goes in there and wins that game again, the 400 true Miami fans, don't they start to get a little agitated? The 5,000, the 50,000 Miami fans that are unaware that Miami exists until they're 11-0, and then the U is back, totally different. I think Miami needs this a little bit more.
I 100% agree with this. The Clemson situation is very stable. They know what they're doing up there. Even if they're having a quote-unquote down year this year, they're going to be stable. They're going to keep where that program is. Miami is in flux. They feel like they've recruited well. They feel like they got all these types of things that are happening around the program. But they lost a very silly game to Georgia Tech. Then they just got outright beat by North Carolina. And if they lose this game to Clemson, that puts them back in their place as a bottom dweller of the ACC. And even though they've been there, they don't feel like they should be there. They're very much still living in 91 and thinking that Michael Irvin is playing for them or Benny Blades or somebody. It's not who they are currently. So they need to win this game to put themselves back into the conversation in the rest of our minds. They're already there in their minds. But for everybody else, they need to get back there.
There's a couple games. We'll get into that coming up in the next segment. Take a look around college football. Preston has done a thorough breakdown of this upcoming Iowa-Minnesota game that he may be able to put you to sleep to this morning, just talking about it. But we'll get into that, and we will definitely break that a little bit more. But Preston's got a question, a burning question that he is ready to get answered.
I've had this burning question all season, but more specifically this week. As we've had this conversation. And this might be where we have a demographic check here. Who's the best receiver for Missouri Tigers?
That's Luther Burden.
Texters. Give them the text number.
803-404-6100.
When you hear the name Luther, what do you think?
I'm assuming you and I are on the same page with this.
I don't know. That's where this is really.
You have an answer?
I do have an answer.
All
so
right.
I want to see these. I want to see some of these texts come in because I cannot hear the name Luther without automatically going to Luther.
Are we going to answer it together here? A little 3, 2, 1 action. You ready? 3, 2, 1. Campbell.
Edros. See?
Oh no, I went Campbell. Luther Campbell.
See? This is interesting.
Campbell. Luther Campbell.
And my whole question about this is when I first heard of Luther Burden, I automatically assumed, okay, that's interesting because I don't think we're making Luthers anymore. I think that name has been cycled out of the name picking conversation where we're picking names for children. But I was glad to know that he's Luther Burden III.
Right.
That gave me some comfort because
there's still a few more Luthers out there.
Well, that there's some more coming out there, and that he was named after a long, proud generation of Luthers. And so I just didn't know if that name. There's two questions: who's the Luther that you think of, and is Luther still a name that we're having in conversations today? Maybe we need. I'm gonna go do some research during the break because I feel like the trend on Luther has very deeply dove over the past 20 years.
All right, this is a lot of people weighing in very quickly, and I'm in the vast majority as far as I can tell. One, Steve from Blythewood goes Vandross. I'm trying to count all the Vandrosses.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, I'm at 3. It's either there's only 2 that are coming in. It's either Vandross or Lex Luther.
See, that's another one that I thought people would bring up.
Luther Vandross. I'll be honest. Not that I know who he is, but the only connection I have to Luther Vandross is him singing "One Shining Moment." Couldn't tell you a single thing outside of that about
connection.
him.
That's a fair connection.
That is up there, but yes, Luther came. Uncle Luke, which again, right about my what we'll say is learning of rap. Like I think the first rap tape. Remember, we're going back. Was the original? Was the very first Snoop Dogg tape?
Okay, all right.
And that was the one. If your mom or your dad walked in the room and you were listening to it, you had to get to the stereo very quickly.
Definitely got that one tossed out. Like, what is this?
You had to get over very quickly and hit stop. Yes, that was. But yeah, Luther Campbell, Uncle Luke was probably. But yeah, a lot of guys. I'm way off on this.
Here we go. This is why I wanted to have the conversation. Because I think this is really interesting. One, I just don't think that the name is being. It's just interesting to me how names get taken out of circulation over time. I don't think we're making many Ethels anymore. My grandfather's name was Cleveland. Don't know if Clevelands are being made anymore. I just like how names cycle in and out, and sometimes they just don't beat. And I feel like Luther is one of these names where it might have had a time in our history, but Luther's not really a thing.
And there's one that we really should probably associate with Martin Luther King Jr.
That's a good possibility.
That might have been one person, Ron from Lake Marion, weighs in on that.
I think he did some good things. High on the leaderboard.
Richard weighs in. Luther is an old man name. It lets me know this is a serious guy. Knew a Luther in 5th grade that I tutored, but he was supposed to be in 8th grade. He was like 6'1", 195, and nobody messed with him.
Luther, you come out, you're 12 years old with a mustache, right? And not a goatee or anything, just a mustache.
A lot of y'all are weighing in. Yes, this is a lot. But the and somebody makes a good point. How many last names do you know Vandross? That does stand out. And now we're just getting all kinds of anonymous Disney Channel shows. Zeke and Luther.
Oh, you definitely told your age just now.
Luther from The Ghost and Mr. Chicken. Don Knotts. You guys are 803.
Don Knotts. Again, more so proving my point about this name Luther. If we're associated with Don Knotts, it definitely is an expiration date.
Why, no kidding.
Live stream. Chalk says, I take it Bill didn't slow dance a lot in high school.
Well,
but I don't know if I knew the songs.
Luther wasn't going to be Bill's high school slow dancing. That wasn't going to be for Bill's age. I understand that. But you are of a certain age where you probably have, far apart square dance to a Luther song for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And there was also definitely a few attended weddings. There was probably a Luther song played at a wedding at some point.
803. Keep them coming. We'll see what else. Keep them coming. 803.
I know what I know, Bill. I knew this was going to be something interesting because I've only heard this name. You don't hear this name anymore.
No, you don't. Yep, he was. Yeah. All right, there you go. Luther Vandross. Unbelievable that it's been almost 20 over. Oh, it's been 18 years since he passed away.
Rest in peace,
man.
One of the greats.
That's crazy. Love his music.
803-404-6100. We'll take a look at the week. There'll be a couple of y'all bringing up a couple games. I'll come back. Somebody wants to know about Miami and why if they lose to Clemson, they're a bottom dweller, but not South Carolina. Because I don't think I can answer that very easily. I can answer that so easily when we come back. We'll get into a few other games. Got that Jimbo Fisher stat I want to mention and get Preston's take on that. A lot to get to. 803-404-6100. You're listening to the early game.
Here's what's coming up on the game.
No winner again this week. The Lawyer Lisa Special Teams Touchdown Contest pot is up to $700. Go to 1075thegame.com to register.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 1075 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Plus, text entitled with approved credit card 866-243-4623 for details. Never before and maybe never again. South Carolina's truck giant, Dodgeland on Greystone, is taking up to $12,000 off new Rams. Quad cab, crew cab, heavy duty. Big trucks, big savings. And where can you get up to 20% more for your trade? South Carolina's truck giant, up to $6,000 more. Don't wait. This has never happened before and maybe will never happen again. $12,000 off new Rams at Dodgeland on Greystone. JT'sDodge.com.
Hi, everybody. This is Woody Wyndham here to talk about Pioneer Tree Service, Guy Gant's company. Guy Gant's not with us anymore, but his girls are the Gant girls. You know, Chelsea and Madison. You know some of the things they do at Pioneer Tree Service? Tree and shrub removal, tree pruning and thinning, tree planting, tree bracing, raising tree canopies, stump grinding removal, storm damage services, property cleaning and grading, demolition and rock removal, right-of-way maintenance. You got to get in touch with these people. 803-794-8253. Let me give you that again. 803-794-8253. Call right now and get a free estimate for the most challenging jobs, Pioneer Tree Service. So you're going to want to call somebody you can trust, and that is the Gant girls at Pioneer Tree Service.
803-794-8253. Or find us online at pioneertreesc.com.
Call Pioneer Tree Service for a free quote.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet, where saving is always the name of the game. The lowest price, guaranteed, or they'll pay you $1,000. South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Find new roads.
There's no better place to be on a fall Saturday than at Williams-Brice Stadium. Secure your tickets today to catch a game this fall. Visit thegamecockclub.com for more information. Whatever the game, whoever you're with, just catch a game.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? I'm Dr. Mark Bentley with Columbia Secret for Weight Loss, and I know the secret. Our unique weight loss program makes it easy to lose weight, get healthy, and get your energy back naturally, safely, and effectively. If you'd like to lose unhealthy fat without counting points or calories, no exercising, no prepackaged or boxed meals, no surgery, and no hypnosis, call my office now at 803-824-4210.
Columbia's Secret for Weight Loss changed my life. I've lost over 50 pounds. Not only did I lose fat, I significantly lowered my A1C in making better choices that are sustainable. Throughout this program, the guidance and accountability help create a pathway to a healthier, better me.
Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month. It's a half a pound to a pound per day. For your free private weight loss consultation, call 803-824-4210. That's 803-824-4210. Or ColumbiaSecretForWeightLoss.com.
Are you tired of constantly being tired? Are you not recovering fast enough after a workout? Maybe you've had low energy levels, lack of drive and motivation. It could be just something as simple as low testosterone. You can't tell until you make a phone call, though. Call the Men's Clinic, 803-875-MENS. Again, that's 803-875-MENS. Even if you've had difficulty sleeping, there's a lot of different issues. And at the Men's Clinic, they have a practice that maintains the highest medical standards while offering men a comfortable environment in which they can speak openly about their health concerns. Again, it could be something as simple as low testosterone, low T. All you need to do is get a free testosterone test. Call Dr. Dan Balknight today, 803-875-MENS. They understand the unique challenges men face and how they can affect your performance at work, home, even at play. So don't wait any longer. 803-875-MENS. Call Dr. Dan Balknight today. Tell him you heard it here on 107.5 The Game with Bill Gunner.
107.5 The Game On Demand podcast menu. Sponsored by Lexington Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. If you're dealing with injuries or pain, our team is here to get you better sooner. On the home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game. 107.5 The Game traffic. Sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections. South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
Well, good news early. She says it. Man, I've been working a bill too long. Okay, we'll start again.
Yeah, you have.
Earlier accidents have been cleared, so it's all looking pretty good right now. Easy for me to say. 72 for the high today. We got some rain coming in at around lunchtime, and we'll be kind of continuing into the evening. But by tomorrow, sunny skies, 75 for the high, sunny, and 76 on Sunday. So, yeah, pretty good weekend all around. Right now, it is 56 on the early game.
Football Friday. Sponsored by Brian's Heating and Cooling. On your home of the Gamecocks. In Columbia, 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Welcome back to 1985. We appreciate you joining us. Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen. Early game. I had a burning question last segment about the name Luther.
Yeah.
We had some discoveries about Luther. We've talked about Luther. There have been some discoveries. I've done some research. My hunch was correct. The name Luther has seen better days.
Oh?
The name Luther has seen better days. Precipitously, it seems like. Well, let's start with this. Once restricted to evangelical Protestants, honoring Martin Luther,
sure.
a top. First of all, if we want to go power rankings on dudes, historical dudes, Luthers have been very strong.
I was just thinking depth chart or top five Luthers of all time.
It's pretty strong. I mean,
Top
Martin
five
Luther
Luthers.
was a dude, and Martin
Yeah.
Luther King Jr. obviously a dude. So honored, some people honored it for Martin Luther King Jr. Then they also mentioned the Disney series Zeke and Luther. Also, if you may remember from the Key and Peele sketch, when Obama had his anger translator's name was Luther. If you remember that sketch. But yeah, the name Luther has really taken a dive, which I suspected not necessarily as popular as its most popular year of naming was in 1985. And which seems to coincide with when Luther Vandross music was really out here, and people were trying, maybe Luther had assisted them in creating these children, possibly. So they just decided that they were going to name their children after Luther.
Honorary, yeah.
Yeah, honorary captain of the family.
Nine months later, honorary name.
Maybe that's possibility. So I just wanted to update anybody. So when you hear Luther Burton, hopefully we don't hear his name called very often this weekend, but there's a slight possibility we will. Just let you know where I'll be thinking.
One other really good Luther Van Dam.
Oh my gosh! From Coach.
Yeah. Coach.
Look at that.
Got that. Jerry Van Dyke.
Also dating ourselves.
The show started I had to go back and look. Somebody hit me up on the Twitter machine here, or the text machine, and they had a picture of him. I was like, yeah, that was a good one. It was a good one. So
It was in the
Mike,
in the 90s.
Mike sent that.
It was in the 90s, but he was 40 in the 90s. So
yeah, 90s. That started in 1989. Ran from 89 to 97. There.
Solid show.
By the way, I have
really
another show topic for spring, summer. So we're gonna want to write this one down. I think it's gonna be music you got caught playing that you were not supposed to be playing. Because got a good text in here. It was I have to go back and find it, but so many texts came in on being caught jamming to DMX, and someone's father came home a little early and could hear it outside.
Oh man, the old parents coming home early. Oof.
One other one to throw out there, this coming in, non-sexter, Luther Dixon, former Carolina offensive lineman.
Absolutely.
Was my high school teacher. He says was his high school O-line coach at Airport. There you go. 803-404-6100. So keep those coming if you've got good ones. Looking ahead to the weekend as a whole, Preston, Texas A&M, real quick. Texas A&M is off. Texas A&M is off this weekend. They'll gear up coming off of that loss to Tennessee. This isn't because, and I'm going to circle this back to Miami and Clemson for a bit, but this is college football on Twitter. College football CFB Home put out a tweet yesterday. In 6 years, Texas A&M has paid Jimbo Fisher $42.71 million for a 43-24 record. It's a 64% win clip. Texas A&M paid Kevin Sumlin $35.1 million with buyout in 6 years for a 51-26 record, 662 record. Per win, Kevin Sumlin was paid $688,000, a few bucks over. Per win, Jimbo Fisher has been paid basically $993,000 per win. I bring this up because I circle back. Jimbo Fisher, we'll talk more about him next week and what's going on at Texas A&M and the lack of living up to the expectation. And that's why I bring up Miami and Clemson. 8 o'clock tomorrow night, ACC Network. And we had a texter weigh in and ask, why is it when Miami loses to Clemson, they're bottom dwellers? When South Carolina loses to Miami, Clemson's just a good team. And it very simple. South Carolina's never been back. South Carolina was ever there. South Carolina's never promoted themselves as we're back because they were never there. We get about every 2 to 3 years, we get it rammed down our throat that Miami is back, the U is back. And if Miami loses this one again to a Clemson team that's okay, they're not great. I think it just continues to show that Miami is nowhere close to being back, that they are still just a middle-of-the-road ACC football team.
Yeah, and there's a lot of hoopla around the hiring of Cristobal, natives, prodigal son coming back home, and He's supposed to bring the team back. He's a recruiting wizard. And I don't know. The jury is definitely still out on what that means. If there's somebody that can get it done, I do think the Miami fan base has to feel like if this doesn't work.
See what you just did?
What I feel.
You just did it.
What
This
I do.
is why Miami.
do.
That same sentence was used for Randy Shannon.
Oh, you're right.
For Mr. Miami. Randy Shannon played linebacker. If he couldn't do it, he was going to recruit the city of Miami. He was going to recruit. Randy Shannon was the guy.
Fair.
And then it wasn't Randy Shannon. So you know then who it was? Manny Diaz, Mr. Miami. His dad was the mayor down there. Manny Diaz knew the culture, knew the people. He was the guy. If he couldn't get it done, who could get it done?
It's all fair points. You're right.
And now we're back to, you know what? It's Mario Cristobal. He's played here. He knows it. He's been around. It's Mario. And if Mario Cristobal can't get it done, who can't get it done? I think we've said that about South Carolina a few times, but South Carolina's never been there to even have to be back. And Miami constantly is back. It's kind of like Texas. What is it? If you name 3 schools that are constantly always back, Miami, Texas, and I don't know, pick a third. It's never Nebraska. We've given up on Nebraska.
Yeah, we've walked them out. We walked them out the pasture. They're out of here. Maybe Notre Dame falls in that category.
Maybe.
But they're actually
But Notre
good.
Dame's, yeah, they've been
They're
to the
actually
playoff.
good.
They played in the championship
Notre
game.
Dame's actually good. So I don't think they don't category. Yeah, but those two teams are really interested in that conversation. And it's the same thing with Sarkisian at Texas. I guess they feel better about Sark being there, but when you look at the records, his record is
Mark Richt. Mark Richt was another one. If Mark Richt can't get it done,
to Mark Richt's defense, they were good when Mark Richt had them there for 1 year. I mean, I think they were ranked number 1 at one point they were like 11 and 10-0 or something along those lines. They were good, but never back.
That's right. 803-404-6100. We'll look at the schedule also, kind of start to offer final thoughts. South Carolina, Missouri. You're listening to the early game.
Here's what's coming up on the game.
The Shane Beamer Weekly Presser, sponsored by Pete Alewine Pools and Spas. Tuesday at 1:30 p.m.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Welcome to BreezeLine, where next level internet speeds mean next level productivity. Don't let slow internet slow down your game. Kick it up a notch with a game-changing offer of 1 gig fiber fast speeds for only $59.99 per month. Terms and conditions apply. Go to breezeline.com to learn more.
Mobile phones, laptops, video games, social media. It's time to unplug, rev up, and get out into the real world on a Honda CRF dirt bike. Honda's family of rugged, reliable CRF trail and dirt bikes are a great way to get out and get connected as a family. From young riders to experienced, they have the Honda dirt bikes in stock and ready to ride. Carolina Honda Powerhouse. Just take exit 70 off I-20 or visit carolinahonda.com. Intended for off-road operation only. Parents need to consider a rider's age, size, ability, and maturity before allowing them to ride.
Fall is here, and with it comes all the traditional family outings like tailgating, mountain and beach adventures, and road trips to grandma's over the holidays. Wherever you go, go with great gas mileage, safety, technology, comfort, and style in a new Honda from Honda of Columbia. Right now, you'll get more for your trade than ever, and as always, you'll enjoy their no-hassle pricing, no-pressure buying experience. Honda of Columbia, your friendly family Honda dealer since 1978. Highway 378 at I-20.
If you have IRS tax problems, it can seem like a vicious cycle that never ends, year after year. Just getting the mail can be stressful and overwhelming. Don't let it ruin your life. There is a solution. Since 2008, the attorneys at Ecton Law Firm have devoted their practice to the resolution of tax problems for individuals and businesses across the Carolinas. We have the knowledge and experience and are dedicated to the success of each client. We are local attorneys with local solutions. At the free initial consultation, we'll listen to your concerns, your goals, and explain the systematic process we use in solving your tax problem. From that initial meeting, you'll see there is a solution. We're dedicated to improving your life by solving your tax problems. If we sound like someone you want to work with, take that first step. Give us a call at 803-771-9800 or go to ectonlawfirm.com. You'll be glad you did.
Text and title with approved credit card. 320-6359 for details. Never before and maybe never again. South Carolina's Kia Giant. JT's Kia goes where no Kia dealer has gone before. Save thousands off new Kias. Save thousands in interest. 3.75% Telluride Sorrento's Carnivals. Get 20% more for your trade. Up to $6,000 more. No payments till next year. And never ever pay more than sticker. South Carolina's Kia Giant. JT'sKia.com.
This week only, you can get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned plus a free hallway from Zerorest for only $109. This offer ends this week, so schedule your appointment now before it's too late. Schedule online at ZerorestColumbia.com.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? I'm Dr. Mark Bentley with Columbia Secret for Weight Loss, and I know the secret. Our unique weight loss program makes it easy to lose weight, get healthy, and get your energy back naturally, safely, and effectively. If you'd like to lose unhealthy fat without counting points or calories, no exercising, no prepackaged or boxed meals, no surgery, and no hypnosis, call my office now at 803-824-4210.
Hi, I'm Erica, and if you want to lose weight and fix your metabolism, then this is the program for you. I'm down 30 pounds in 7 weeks. My metabolism is alive again, and I feel great. This system will not let you down.
Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month. It's a half a pound to a pound per day. For your free private weight loss consultation, call 803-824-4210. That's 803-824-4210. Or ColumbiaSecretForWeightLoss.com.
Gotta take.
Hit us up on the Firehouse Subs text line.
Firehouse Subs, founded by firemen.
803-404-6100.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game. 107.5 The Game traffic. Sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
All looking good out on the highways this morning. No major slowdowns, though. We had some earlier, but all of that has cleared. Great news for your Friday commute. We'll see some rain, possible thunderstorms coming in today around lunchtime and kind of continuing those showers through the afternoon and evening. They'll be clearing for tomorrow. So 72 for your high today, and then looking for sunny skies tomorrow and Sunday. 75 on Saturday, 76 on Sunday. So beautiful forecast on tap. Right now, though, it is 56 on the early game.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
On your home of the Gamecocks. In Columbia, 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
The ball is tipped, and there you are. You're running for your life. You're a shooting
If you had the
star.
Luther Vandross and One Shining Moment being played this morning on the early game bingo card, congratulations. Take the rest of the day off. Did you two know? In the break, I was reading about this, and what they say is true, that you learn something new each and every day. I was totally, and I love that song. That's my favorite, sports song, whatever. I would fight when I was in my early teens or whatever to get to the end of a NCAA basketball game, the NCAA basketball championship game, just to hear that. That was it. Or I would record the game, the end, just to hear that and see the montage. Somebody hit us up. The original writer of that song was David Barrett. David Barrett was the original writer. Wrote it in 1986 after playing a set at a bar in East Lansing, Michigan. He stayed to watch Larry Bird play on TV. And as he watched the game, he wrote the song down on a napkin, and the next day he said the song fully formed. There's a whole story about how it ended up in the hands of CBS Sports, their creative director. Did you know the original intent for that song, which is odd because, again, as it said, this song was written in 1986 as you just were going to hear it. CBS originally planned to debut One Shining Moment after Super Bowl 21 on January 25th, 1987. It was to have been the post-game montage for that contest, but the game ran past the expected airtime, and CBS had a primetime show to debut in the next time slot, so the montage was canceled.
Wow.
It was going to be the 1987, January 25th, the 1987 Super Bowl montage afterwards. It got canceled because of a show. I didn't say this does not tell me what primetime show they had to debut. Probably one that didn't last more than a year. I don't know. That's why it's not in here. It was canceled. CBS then asked permission from David Barrett to use it to wrap up the 1987 NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship game March 30th, in which Indiana beat Syracuse. It has obviously been used since, and at least according to what I'm reading, because now I'm 41 and I don't try to fight and stay up like I used to.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it says Luther Vandross is still the actual singer of that. So it says it's been used every year. I think they did change it one year and people about lost their mind. It looks like they've changed it a couple times, but they brought it back. And Luther Vandross has done it from 2003 to 2009, 2011 to 2019, and 2021 to present.
Let's just keep it there.
Yeah, please do not change it.
Do not change
grief. Not everything needs to be changed.
And at first I thought you were going to say like somebody else was intended to sing it and you were going to say something crazy like, Madonna or,
Look, man, I'm reading off of Wikipedia.
Cyndi Lauper.
And Wikipedia is not always the most accurate
Would've been
place
terrible.
to acquire information, but it fits in with this show where we just sometimes repeat things. But according to this, Jennifer Hudson sang it in 2010.
She could have done okay with that.
Teddy Pendergrass had it from 94 to 99, by the way. Teddy Pendergrass.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking to go, and well-known artist Neo in 2016.
Nah.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the gravitas to pull that one off.
I would agree. Yeah.
That one would be up there. That would be up there as my sports song.
Okay.
That would be up there. 803-404-6100 is how you can join us this morning as we come to the conclusion of this program here in about the next 17 minutes. But going back to, let's kind of focus in on South Carolina, Missouri here. A lot has been talked about. South Carolina's pass defense, Preston. I think that's really what determines this game. I think South Carolina did about all they could offensively last week. I know you can point to the final 4 minutes. Maybe you can point to a play here, a play there. Mario Anderson has a big game. I'm not sure that Spencer Rattler doesn't throw for 325 yards tomorrow and Mario Anderson run for 125 and South Carolina still lose the game. That's unfortunately where, and I think what I just said about Rattler and Anderson both have to happen.
You're saying that has to happen in order for them to have an opportunity.
I feel, yeah, and maybe you move those numbers because I will say maybe if you get Mario Anderson going closer to 150, maybe you're able to control the clock and keep the Missouri offense off the field. Maybe that's where it goes. This Missouri team, by the way, is not invincible.
No, they're definitely not invincible. They're playing well offensively, but they had some breaks last week. They made tremendous special teams play last week. That's changed the tide of what that game was, had some penalties to help them. So when you watch the film, they are well, they perform well offensively, but they're not invincible, as you just said. That being said, all we can go off of as people who are on the outside is what the defense's past performance has been, and it has not been good. Could that have changed this past week? Could there be a difference? Could they come out with a chip on their shoulder or made some schematic adjustments to change things? Absolutely, that could happen. The problem is that I don't know, as you said earlier, if that can happen this quickly. You would like to have a team that's not going to put as much pressure on your specific weakness like Missouri will.
I mean, again, Missouri beat Memphis. Now, that game was a neutral site game. But Memphis threw for 316 yards and 3 touchdowns in that game. And that was a close game, 34-27 in that ball game. Missouri at home earlier this year against Middle Tennessee State, 23-19. And in that game, Middle Tennessee State, who's struggling, 219 yards. Now, that game was 23-10. Middle Tennessee scored a touchdown with 6 minutes to go and then promptly got a safety to make it 23-19, if you're wondering. But again, it's not like Missouri just blew Middle Tennessee out of the water. It was 23-19. You know, that LSU game, that was a fun one to watch. I think that's when we first took notice of Missouri because of the way that went. But again, the Missouri defense, Jaden Daniels had a good day. He was able to throw for 259 yards. Logan Diggs was able to run for 134 yards. We've talked a lot about the South Carolina defense. The Missouri defense has some flaws as well, Preston. That has to be exploited tomorrow.
You know, I've just been thinking about the difference between this year and last year with these teams. Obviously, last year the offense was struggling so mightily. The defense wasn't great, but the offense was struggling. And I just think as a fan, we think that the defense can get it together at some point. We see the talent out there. We feel like maybe if something happens, they can get it together. I don't know why, but I don't feel as hopeless as I did last year.
Right.
When the offense was just sputtering around. They couldn't complete any passes. I feel it feels better to at least have an offense that can score some points. And if you feel like we can luck into us, if we can just get that one stop. And that's really all they are. It's amazing the different conversation we're having this week if we just get one stop last week. And so I always
that is a very good point. For all the flaws, for everything that happened.
For everything.
Yeah.
There's like 5 different plays that if one of them happens, the facts are still there, but we're having a totally different conversation. And so as the texter pointed in, yeah, it's not as if you're saying, well, there's no reason to play the game because we do have an offense. We do have a quarterback. We're establishing a running game. And as long as the way football is played now, as long as you have an offense that can put up some points, you have an opportunity to win every game.
It'll be the interesting start to the back half of the season. South Carolina can win this game. It's going to take a much better defensive effort. They are only about a touchdown favorite. It's kind of moving all over the place. I think the other concern is you do go against, in my opinion, probably the best offense that you will face down the stretch. Over these next 6 games. You look at the next 6 games, Texas A&M has been up and down offensively. Jacksonville State's creative, and you watched them, and that's going to be concerning.
I did not like that.
Vanderbilt, Kentucky, and Clemson, they don't scare you offensively. There's nothing there that really puts fear in you like Missouri does with those wide receivers, Luther Burden and Theo Weiss. Brady Cook, again, will be the best quarterback South Carolina faces as they come down the stretch. We'll wrap up the program, look at a few other games. Iowa and Minnesota. Preston's going to give you the pick of the week on that. You're listening to the early game.
The game will be at the beach, in the PD, and the Midlands. That almost covers the whole Palmetto State. In Columbia, 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by Prevagen. 2 upper echelon quarterbacks that will be facing some extra pressure this Sunday are Jalen Hurts and Justin Herbert, both of whom threw some inexplicable and costly interceptions last weekend in close winnable contests. Herbert will be hard-pressed to match scores on the road with the potent Chiefs offense. And how about the Dolphins offense? They go to Philadelphia, and they bring that track team with them. I'm Boomer Esiason. CBS Sports Radio.
Your brain is an amazing thing, but as you get older, it naturally begins to change, causing a lack of sharpness or even trouble with recall. Thankfully, the breakthrough in Prevagen helps your brain and actually improves memory. The secret is an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired, Prevagen has been shown to improve memory. A Pharmacy Times national survey of pharmacists rated Prevagen the #1 pharmacist-recommended memory support brand for the 5th year in a row. You can find it in the vitamin aisle in stores everywhere without a prescription. Help your memory. Try Prevagen today. Prevagen. Healthier brain, better life. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Nothing slows my little girl down, except a stuffy nose. Mommy. That's why I use Sinex Children's Saline from Vicks. Sinex instantly clears mucus in everyday stuffy little noses with a gentle, ultra-fine mist designed for kids. Just Sinex? Breathe. Her stuffy nose is gone for now. And so is she.
Sinex Children's Saline. Sinex, breathe. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
DraftKings Sportsbook is hooking up new customers big time. Bet $5 on any game this week to score $200 instantly in bonus bets. Plus, all you customers can take advantage of a sweetener offer every game day this October. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the promo code Patrick. New customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets when you bet just $5 on the NFL. That's promo code Patrick only on DraftKings Sportsbook.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles in Louisiana. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
Football Friday.
Sponsored by Brian's Heating and Cooling.
On your home of the Gamecocks. In Columbia, 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Final segment of the show here as we get you ready for another Football Friday. And let's just run down this schedule real quick. Starting tomorrow at noon, Penn State traveling to Ohio State. Preston Thorne, number 7 Penn State, number 3 Ohio State. You going with the Buckeyes in this game?
Yeah, I guess so, if I have to.
Battle of evil villains in college football. James Franklin and Ryan Day. I will too. Penn State doesn't seem like they ever win these big games. And then, as you said, they complain about being overlooked. 3:30. The rest of the early slate, not really great. Central Florida, Oklahoma. Air Force, by the way, we got the text in this week that mentioned Air Force going undefeated. Air Force has lost their quarterback for a period of time here. Air Force, number 22 in the country, travels to Navy tomorrow, CBS noon game. Arkansas and Mississippi State, not a game I'm going to go out of my way to watch. Arkansas has to have that game, though.
Absolutely.
South Carolina hasn't reached Arkansas status just yet with blinking the red alert light. It's close. Arkansas is blinking the red alert light right now. That's kind of your noon games. Nothing else really standing out. They're 3:30. Washington State, who had been rolling along, lost a few games. Now they drop out of the rankings. They're taking on Oregon, 3:30. Oregon coming off of that loss to, coming off of the loss to Washington. Dan Lanning taking full responsibility. Oregon's back home. I assume they win that and stay kind of in the race for the Pac-12. You on that?
I won't watch it. I'll check for who wins that game, but I won't be checking for that.
There's a reason, and I'll tell you why he won't be checking for that. 3:30 tomorrow, CBS, Tennessee and Alabama. Is Tennessee good? Like really good? Like is that one where are we doing the same thing we did after North Carolina won, in which we were trying to figure out how good North Carolina was, and now North Carolina's rolling along and having a very good year and has reached the top 10? Are we buying Tennessee? Are we that ugly loss to Florida? I mean,
I feel like you can ask that question for both of these teams because Alabama, I think, is in the same boat. Whereas, yeah, they're good. Are they good? Are they good compared to who they are now? Are we comparing them to what they used to be? I don't know. So there's a lot of questions that will be answered in this game.
If you have trouble with sleep, this is the game Preston will be thoroughly invested in. 3:30 tomorrow, NBC. If you've had trouble sleeping lately, you've had low energy, if you wonder if it's low testosterone and you need to see the men's clinic, or you want to see if it's just a matter of not being able to sleep, 3:30 tomorrow, Minnesota at Iowa. Iowa's ranked 24th. What is the over-under on this game?
The over on this game is now down to 30.5.
30.5, folks. 30.5.
It is the lowest in college football in the past 20 years, surpassing the two previous lows, which were by Iowa. They had 31.5 against Kentucky, in which Iowa won 21-0. And they also had a 31.5 low against Minnesota, in which they won that game 13-10. So, pick of the week, 30.5, Iowa, Minnesota, hammer the under. It's not from Brian Edwards, but I'm just telling you.
It is the Coach P pick of the week.
I don't give picks, but this one you might want to be, because also as we've been keeping up, we've made an executive decision to keep up with the drive for 325, seeing where that's going. Brian Ferentz is going to have to score some points in order to make it there. He's woefully short right now.
If you feel you need kind of a double dose, this is top tier Big Ten football tomorrow. Minnesota, Iowa, that one, real quick, more yardage. Combined offensive yards or punt yards?
Take the punt.
I'm with you on that. If you just want, if that's not quite doing it for you and you need another one, 3:30 tomorrow, Big Ten Network, Northwestern and Nebraska.
Oh.
One of those two, don't worry, you're going to get an after. You just if you're having if it's raining and you're trying to take the afternoon off for a beautiful day, you've had a busy morning at the pumpkin patch, you want to nap, knock out one of those two. They'll put you to sleep there. Not much else the rest of the afternoon. Pittsburgh, Wake Forest, Oklahoma State, West Virginia. Texas does go to Houston there. The one time they'll meet as Big 12 opponents. Then you slide into the evening. 6:30, CW Network mentioned them. Number 10, North Carolina hosting Virginia. Tony Elliott trying to get it right, but I feel like you're more on the Jamie Chadwell watch for Virginia at this point.
That's really interesting. Yeah, obviously we know we're familiar with the situation that happened at Virginia last year. Tragedy, absolutely. I think Tony was the right person for the job. They have to get things going because ultimately the name of the game is to win.
7:00 tomorrow night. Ole Miss travels to Auburn. Ole Miss up to 13th in the polls. We'll see. Who knows how they can get sneaky. They got that loss to Alabama. They got the victory over LSU. Maybe the West this year gets muddled up enough that Ole Miss can take advantage of a tiebreaker and sneak their way into Atlanta. Tomorrow night, 8:00, ACC Network. Kind of mentioned it. Clemson at Miami. It's just for both teams. No playoff implications. Not even sure it has ACC championship implications. Just an interesting directional game for both teams. You got a pick on that one?
Yeah, well, I don't have a pick, but I'd like to see Clemson drag them through the mud.
Okay,
I'd like to see that happen.
Yeah, we just learned something about Preston Thorne, his disdain for the Miami Hurricanes.
Yeah, I'm kind of sick of it.
There you go.
Shout out to you. I know we have a Miami fan that listens.
A couple of them.
Respect. Appreciate y'all, but yeah, I'm kind of sick of it.
Duke and Florida State tomorrow night as well, 6:30 ABC. Back to South Carolina, Missouri tomorrow. Point spread is bouncing between 6.5 and 7.5. I think that is kind of low. Vegas typically in these kind of things seems to be spot on. Last week, I know it was a point in favor of the Gamecocks. Obviously, they lost by 2. That's still right there around the point spread. Stop Brady, Cook, and Luther Burden enough times. I think South Carolina's offense. I think both teams' offense. I like the over.
Take the over, man. And we get one stop, we should be in good state.
Win the red zone. Hold them to field goals. They did that kind of last week in the first half. Didn't work out the same way in the second half. We will be back on Monday morning to discuss it all. Everybody, have a great weekend. Thank you, Jen. Excellent work.
Appreciate you.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 1075 The Game.
A great selection of new Chevys is available.
Y'all have a great weekend. Everybody take care. Stay out of trouble. See you on Monday.